So I welcome Dr. Ravi Gupta, sir, very prominent advocate on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is the Central Council member nominated by the Government of India in the Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So very, very big round of applause to Dr. Ravi Gupta, sir. And we are having, of course, the presence of CA Nikhil Gupta ji, convener of Trans-Hindon CP Study Circle, and CA Anubhav Mittal ji, young and dynamic chartered accountant. So, friends, as slowly all the members are joining, and we are live on YouTube also. So, before the start of the program, with your permission, we will have observe 2 minutes silence. 2 मिनट के लिए मौन रखेंगे और परमपिता परमात्मा से जो हमारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स और उनके परिवार के सदस्य और नियर एंड डियर्स हमारे बीच में कोरोना की वजह से नहीं है, उनकी आत्मा की शांति के लिए परमपिता परमात्मा से प्रार्थना करेंगे और उसके बाद फॉर्मली विल स्टार्ट द प्रोग्राम. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So, may I request CA Nikhil Gupta ji, convener of Trans-Hindon CP Study Circle, to formally start the proceedings. You are on mute, Nikhil ji.
Respected members, a very warm good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for joining us today. Now, on behalf of Trans-Hindon CP Study Circuit, I would like to welcome Dr. Ravi Gupta, sir, government nominee member, who will be deliberating on appeals under Income Tax Act. I would like to welcome Anuj Goyal ji, chief guest and Central Council member of ICAI. Members, if you have any query during the session, please you can put them in question box. We and Anuj Goyal sir will bring them during presentation. Now, I would like to welcome CA Anubhav Mittal ji. Now I would request CA Anubhav Mittal ji to share the profile of Dr. Ravi Gupta sir with us.
Thank you, Nikhil Gupta ji. Good afternoon to all the delegates and participants present in today's webinar. Our guest speaker for today's webinar is Dr. Ravi Gupta ji. Dr. Ravi Gupta ji did his graduation and post-graduation from Shri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University. Thereafter, he also completed his LLB from Delhi University and also did MBA Finance from Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi. He had been also awarded a PhD degree in International Finance by the Delhi University. He is a faculty member at Shri Ram College of Commerce and has vast experience in handling various tax matters of industry and trade. He has also been a visiting faculty member at various institutes such as MDI, the Indian Law Institute, the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and various other management institutes. To further add on, he has also attended and deliberated more than 2,000 webinars organized by ICAI, Chambers of Commerce, and various other universities. He had also been appointed as a committee member by the Government of India for Simplification of Income Tax Act of India. He is also independent directors of various reputed companies and has also been nominated as a Central Council member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India by the Government of India. With this, I welcome Dr. Ravi Gupta ji and would like to invite CA Nikhil Gupta ji to introduce our session chairman for the day.
Thank you, Anubhav ji. CA Anuj Goyal sir, as we all know, Central Council member of ICAI. With his 14 years in council, 3 years in regional council, 6 years in branch, he immensely contributed in various capacities. Now he is chairman of Research Committee and Capital Market and Investor Protection. He is also vice chairman of Corporate Laws and Corporate Governance. He is also the member of Institute of Company Secretary and Institute of Post Accountant. Now I would like to request CA Anuj Goyal sir to come on board, please.
Thank you, CA Nikhil Gupta ji, our convener of Jawahar Park CP Study Circle. We are having the presence of Dr. Ravi Gupta ji, our honorable Central Council member, government nominee, very prominent educationist and a very prominent advocate, and above all, a very great human being. So very big round of applause to Dr. Ravi Gupta sir. And it's our really great fortune that all of us will be having the blessing of Dr. Ravi Gupta sir on this very important topic for the profession, appeals under direct taxes. We are having, of course, the presence of CA Anubhav Mittal ji, our young and dynamic chartered accountant, and who is having the expertise, and of course, a graduate also, and who is having expertise in the taxation matters. And we are having the presence of n number of members over Zoom platform as well as on YouTube. So on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I welcome all our honorable viewers. And Ravi sir, in spite of this corona pandemic, we are trying our level best to have more and more the programs on virtual platform so that our members can engage themselves in knowledge enriching activities and can be away from the negative thoughts and negative news in this time of pandemic corona, which is there everywhere, whether it is social media or electronic media. And I'm really very happy that this knowledge updation is not only benefiting our members, but is also very good for the trade and industry, and in turn for the society and country as such. So I once again welcome all of you on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and Trans-Indian CP Study Circle. Friends, it is the constant endeavor of ICAI to regularly update and upgrade the skills of the members in tune with changing requirements. This is the beauty of this profession, that each one of us pursue our insatiable appetite to learn more and more. Against this backdrop, Trans-Indian CP Study Circle has come up with another important topic related to appeals under direct taxes, and none other than Dr. Ravi Gupta sir will be guiding us on this very important topic for the profession, appeals under direct taxes. And as we are very well aware, now this is the faceless regime, so it becomes all the more very important for all of us, because we are the best accounting professionals across the globe. So the best, I think the way Dr. Ravi Gupta ji and Dr. Giri Sahuja ji is trying their level best to have the corruption-free taxation system in India. I think it is really very good for the professionals who are the best accounting professionals across the globe, the chartered accountants. Friends, appeal refers to an act of referring the case to a higher authority against the order passed by a lower authority in respect of that case. Very simple definition, of course. It implies a complaint to a higher authority against the order of an administrative authority. And we are very well aware that appeal can be done by the department also and by the assessee also. So the complex nature of Income Tax Act and the various rules often create a situation where there is difference of opinion among the assessee and the assessing officer. Quite often, an assessee is not satisfied by an assessment order issued by the Income Tax Authority. And in this faceless assessment regime, I think it has become now very very important, because at times there is communication gap between the assessee and the department. Assessee, I mean, of course, the council of the assessee. And such an agreed assessee can present his case before specified authorities prescribed under Income Tax Act. Friends, Union Budget 2020 brought a paradigm shift in the entire tax appellate system to eliminate human interface from the Indian tax scrutiny and first appellate system. The Finance Minister had made necessary amendments in the Income Tax Act 1961 during Union Budget 2020. This was followed by the Prime Minister unveiling the transparent taxation ordering the honest platform. The three main features of the platform are faceless assessments, faceless appeals, and taxpayers charter. taking the above forward, CBDT has notified the scheme, Faceless Appeal Scheme 2020. So it is very, very important for the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India to understand Faceless Appeal Scheme 2020. This has been the greatest and the revolutionary change as far as income tax is concerned, where the entire assessment and appeals will be done with the help of artificial intelligence. AI is very, very important nowadays, and data mining. Therefore, it is going to completely transform how we have been doing our income tax assessments and appeals and how we have been handling income tax cases. So now the time has gone when something could be evaded, something could be planned, which may not come under the category of evasion. But now each and every information is very well there with the department. So I think we have to contribute for the trade and industry, and as well as towards the government, that how we can suggest our clients in the best possible manner, and the right tax can be paid for the development of the nation. I think it is the role and responsibility of the member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Friends, the scheme in a nutshell provides that everything shall be online, from allocation of appeal, communication of notice, verification of details, admission of additional ground, admission of additional evidence, final communication of the appellate order, review of order, and rectification of order, dispensing with the need for any physical interface between the appellant and the department. The scheme is yet another positive milestone towards tax transparency in India. And I think you see the foresightedness that before the corona came into existence, I think the government of this country made it compulsory that all the assessments and appeals should be on the faceless platform. And now, day in, day out, we are using the technology, particularly in this time of corona pandemic. So now we can very well contribute in this faceless regime or taxation regime, which is the need of the hour now. And once effectively implemented, this scheme will lead to consistent tax positions and ultimately help reduce litigation, especially on repetitive issues. This should in turn help further in ease of doing business, which India has been untimely working towards over the past few years. Therefore, to address and give us a light on appeals and the direct taxes, I would like to take the pleasure in welcoming the dynamic speaker of the day, Dr. Ravi Gupta, sir, our Honorable Central Council member, Government Nominee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, who is a very prominent tax expert and is a great educator, has been the professor in the commerce, in the Sri Ram College of Commerce, and he has authored hundreds of books along with Dr. Greece Ahuja, sir. So without taking your further time, I once again welcome our honorable guest speaker, Dr. Ravi Gupta, sir, for his blessings and words of wisdom and his presentation. So over to Dr. Ravi Gupta ji. Very, very big round of applause, friends.
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you so much. At the outset, let me express my gratitude to the Hindon Study Circle for organizing this webinar today. I'm grateful to Anubhav Mittal ji, Nikhil Gupta ji, convener of the Study Circle, and more so to Anuj Goyal ji, my old friend. I have known him for plenty of years now. I have seen his working in the Central Council also for the last 6-8 years. I'm in the council. I have seen his dynamism there also. Even prior to that, I had the occasion of interacting with him on so many occasions. And I've always found him to be a very loving person. And he's so dynamic, so intelligent, and always available to the help of the members. It is a pleasure to be here with you, Anuj, today. And whenever you have asked me or you have given me an opportunity, it is always a pleasure to join your seminar. And today also, thank you so much for inviting me to the seminar. Friends, we are going to deal with the topic on appeals before the various authorities. I have a small presentation for you where I have tried to deal with all the practical aspects of appeals. As Anuj just said, that we are now in the faceless regime, I will be covering some aspects of the faceless appeals also. There are some challenges in the faceless proceedings. In fact, we have already made the submissions in many cases before the Commissioner appeals under the new regime, but unfortunately there have been no proceedings as yet, and we do not know the outcome of those appeals. For the last about 6 months, I think we have been filing the submissions, but we have not yet received any order from the Faceless Appeal Center. So we will have to wait and see how these appeals are actually being dealt with. Now, can I share my presentation, please?
Yes, sir. You can very well share.
I have the presentation on the screen.
Yes, you can share.
Sir, at bottom you will see share screen button. Click that share screen.
अभी नहीं आ
Share
रहा
content.
है पे.
And I will also welcome CA Raghavendra Sharma ji and CA PC Jain ji, our founders of the Transcendental CP Study Circle. And yeah, it's visible, sir. Ravi Gupta, sir, it's visible. Yeah.
ठीक है. So, firstly, I am going to deal with mainly today on the appeals before the Commissioner Income Tax.
Sorry, Ravi sir, I'm so sorry interrupt. वो आप हाँ बस thank you sir, sorry, thank you.
Okay. So, as I said, we are going to deal in detail firstly regarding the appeals before the Commissioner Income Tax. So here I will be taking various aspects of the appeals before the Commissioner, and we'll be doing all ABCD about these appeals. To start with, see, appeal is never a matter of right. It is always provided in the statute. If an appeal is not provided in the statute, then I do not have a right to file an appeal before any authority. Then the only remedy available with me is to file a writ before the High Court. So wherever there is no remedy provided in the Act, under any Act and matter, for that matter, then I have to seek the special powers of the High Courts. Under Article 226, they have the power to grant relief to any person. So under the Income Tax Act, we have two provisions, Section 246A and Section 248, where a right to file an appeal has been given to the assessee. The first appeal, that is the appeal to Commissioner Appeals, can be filed only by the assessee, because this is an appeal against the order of an income tax authority. So obviously the authority cannot appeal against its own order. So the first right of appeal is only with the assessee. As I said, there are two sections. 246A is the main section under which we file an appeal against all the assessments, penalties, rectification order, search cases. All those appeals are covered under section 246A. 248 deals with only one section under which an appeal is provided. That is where an order is passed under section 195. 195, friends, as you would be aware, deals with TDS on payments to non-residents. So wherever an assessee makes a payment of any sum of money to a non-resident, he is required to deduct TDS on the sum that is remitted. Now, in many cases, the assessee can argue that the payment that I am making is not the income of that person. It is not chargeable to tax in India, so there is no liability to deduct tax. However, the department may not agree with that contention in many cases. So if you have to remit the payment, you have to deduct the tax, deposit it, and then after that, you can file an appeal against that order of the assessing officer. So that power to file the appeal against order under 195 is provided specifically under section 248.
डॉक्टर साहब थोड़ी सी वॉइस लो है.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as I was mentioning, section 248 deals with only appeals which are filed under section 195 dealing with TDS on payments to non-residents. All other appeals are covered under section 246A. I will try to list all those sections against which appeal can be filed under section 246A. Anuj, is it better now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
See, these are the orders against which I will file an appeal under section 246A. It could be a intimation under section 143(1). Nowadays, as you would be aware, 97% of the cases are processed under section 143(1). In fact, first of all returns that we file are processed under 143(1). While passing orders under 143(1), the CPC also makes certain adjustments. Now, against those adjustments also, first an opportunity is given to the SSC to explain. In spite of that, even if then addition has been made, then my only remedy is to file an appeal. So I can file an appeal against 143(1), 143(1)B, 200A, etc. This is TCS, TDS, etc. On all these cases, I can file appeal to the Commissioner Appeals. Then secondly, against scrutiny assessments which happen, these are also now online assessments. So against these assessments also I can file an appeal under 246A, 144 assessment if it is a best judgment assessment, 147 assessment, or in case of search cases, where an order is made under 153A or 153C, I can make a first appeal to the Commissioner Appeals. This procedure for assessment of such cases has been changed from assessment year 22-23. In the last budget, they have omitted section 153A and 153C. Now, all such cases assessments will also be made under section 147, 148. So this procedure of making such assessments has also undergone a lot of changes, but still against that order, I can file an appeal to the Commissioner Appeals. Then against advanced pricing agreements, international taxation, rectification orders, refund orders, all penalty orders, right? All penalty orders are appealable. Penalties are imposed under various sections dealing with 270 to 275A. It can be for underreporting, for misreporting, for cash transactions, right? So all those penalties are covered under these sections. All penalties are appealable to the Commissioner Appeals. Then there are so many other sections. 201, trading an SSC to be in default, for non-deduction, for non-collection of tax. So these were the orders that I was mentioning against which appeal has been provided for. If there is any order against which appeal is not provided for, then the SSC has no right to file an appeal. As I told you, in that case, only remedy is go to the High Court, seek a writ relief from the High Court. Some of the orders against which appeal is not provided, right? These are the orders against which there is no provision of filing an appeal to the Commissioner Appeals. For example, an order passed under section 197. If you apply to the TDS officer for a certificate of lower deduction of tax at source and he denies you that certificate, for that there is no appeal provided. So the only remedy is to file a writ in the High Court. Against interest charged under section 220 for delayed payment of taxes, again no appeal has been provided. If you apply for a stay of demand which is refused, no appeal provided, go to the High Court directly. Similarly, there are other orders against which appeal is not provided for. So in these cases, the SSC cannot file an appeal. There is no provision under the Act. Now, how would I start the procedure for filing an appeal? my suggestion is that as soon as you receive an assessment order, then first of all, the first step that the counsel or the chartered accountant should do is to prepare a reconciliation of the returned income and the assessed income. Right? This exercise will give you a lot of information and will suggest the actions that are required. In many cases, if I read the assessment order only, there might be some omissions in the assessment order which do not become apparent. Right? For example, you had claimed a deduction in your return, which the assessing officer forgets to mention. He does not even mention in the assessment order and does not grant that relief to you. So unless and until you prepare a reconciliation, it will be difficult for you to point out various provisions or various additions which have been made either advertently or inadvertently. Right? Here is a sample of the reconciliation which we normally prepare. Supposing the income as per return was 20,50,000, two additions have been made. 10 lakh addition has been made under section 68, and let us say a disallowance of commission has been made of 12 lakhs. So this amounts to 32,50,000. Then when I see the assessment order, I find that I had claimed a deduction under section 80C, which has not been allowed by the assessing officer. There is no mention about it. There is no reasoning given why it should not be disallowed. It is an inadvertent mistake on the part of the assessing officer. He has forgotten to give that deduction. And let us say there is a totaling error of 20,000 rupees in the assessment order. So he has assessed my income at 33,70,000. 12 lakh rupees was an apparent mistake, and another 1,20,000 were inadvertent mistakes in the assessment order. So now what is the remedy available with me? Against these two additions of 10 lakh and 2 lakhs, I must file an appeal. Against these two mistakes, I can file a rectification order under section 154. I can apply for a rectification order. If the assessing officer does not rectify it, then or refuses to rectify it, then I can file a separate appeal against the order under section 154. But in this manner, if I prepare a reconciliation, then I will be able to find out what are the differences between my returned income and my assessed income. So this is a first step that I would suggest to all the counsels, so that it will help you in determining what is the course of action which you should take as soon as you receive the assessment order. Then there are some preliminary factors which you must examine when the assessment order is received. Some basic points you have to see. First, check whether notice under 142 was issued, whether it was issued in time, whether it was issued by the proper assessing officer, whether it was properly served on the assessee. If it is an order under section 148, check if reasons have been given to you. These are some preliminary things which you must take care before you start the procedure for the appeal. The appeal should normally be filed within 30 days of the date of service of the notice of demand if the order relates to assessment or penalty. If the appeal is filed under section 248, as I said, related to TDS, then it is 30 days from the date of payment of tax. And in other cases, it is 30 days from the date on which intimation of the order sought to be appealed against is served. Right? So all these limitation periods of 30 days start from the date of service or any other order which is served upon the citizen. Whether it is notice under 154 or any other proceedings, the limitation period starts from the date of service of that order, not from the date of passing of that order. These dates may be extended from time to time depending upon the prevailing circumstances. For example, in these days of pandemic, these dates have been extended by the CBDT also. The date of filing all appeals has been extended to 30th of June, and by an order of the Supreme Court, further liberalization has been given, further liberty has been given. Appeals can be filed till further notice by the Supreme Court. So we have plenty of time during this pandemic period to file an appeal. As long as the pandemic prevails, I think they will keep extending this time limitation. In calculating this period of 30 days limitation,
सर ये वॉइस थोड़ी सी इंक्रीज हो सकती है क्या, वॉल्यूम, इफ पॉसिबल? आई डोंट नो,
मैं देखता हूं सर।
वैसे मुझे तो सही आ रही है, पर अलग अलग डिवाइसेस पे अलग अलग होता है ना सर।
चेक करता हूं सर, अगर ये बढ़ सकती है।
हाँ, वैसे मुझे ठीक आ रही है, पर कुछ मेंबर्स की डिवाइस पे ठीक नहीं आ रही। थोड़ी सी अगर बढ़ जाए इफ पॉसिबल, अदरवाइज इट्स ओके।
मेरे डिवाइस पर सर मैक्सिमम पर है।
हाँ ठीक है सर, ठीक है, ठीक है सर, राइट, नो प्रॉब्लम।
बाकी मैं ये स्लाइड जो है, ये पूरी प्रेजेंटेशन आई विल शेयर विद द मेंबर्स।
यस यस,
अगर कुछ ओमिट भी हो जाता है तो दे कैन गो थ्रू दिस।
नहीं, वी कैन वेरी वेरी हियर यू।
अब इसमें 30 डेज जो हम कैलकुलेट करेंगे, उसमें डेट ऑफ द सर्विस ऑफ द ऑर्डर इज टू बी एक्सक्लूडेड, सो यू गेट क्लियर 30 डेज टाइम। और एक और इसमें एक्सक्लूजन का पीरियड दिया हुआ है। अब जब ऑर्डर आपको मिलते हैं तो देयर इज अ प्रोविजन फॉर इम्पोजिंग अ पेनल्टी अंडर सेक्शन 270AA। अब इसके लिए मैं इम्यूनिटी के लिए अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ। 270AA में अगर पेनल्टी का नोटिस मुझे मिलता है, आई कैन अप्लाई फॉर इम्यूनिटी। दोस्त उसमें कंडीशंस हैं दैट आई डू नॉट फाइल एन अपील एंड आई पे दी टैक्सेस। अब मैंने अगर इम्यूनिटी के लिए अप्लाई करा और for any reasons that immunity is not granted to me, if the immunity is not granted to me, then what do? Then I get the right to file an appeal against the order. So इस केस में जो टाइम इसमें लूज हुआ for filing the application and rejection by the assessing officer, that be excluded in the computation of period of 30 days. तो ऐसे ही सब circumstances में ये पीरियड मेरा 30 days का बढ़ जाता है। और अगर मैं 30 डेज में किसी वजह से नहीं भी अप्लाई कर पाऊं तो देयर इज अ प्रोविजन फॉर कॉन्डोनेशन ऑफ द डिले। अगर जेन्युइन सर्कमस्टांसेस हैं, इफ देयर आर सफिशिएंट कॉजेस फॉर नॉट फाइलिंग द अपील, पावर लाइज विद द कमिश्नर अपील्स टू कंडोन द डिले इन फाइलिंग द अपील। ठीक है, जब मैं अपील फाइल करूं तो इट इज एडवाइजेबल दैट अपील शुड बी अकम्पनीड बाय एन एप्लीकेशन फॉर द कॉन्डोनेशन। अब कॉन्डोनेशन कैन बी ऑन सो मेनी ग्राउंड्स। मैंने कुछ केसेस अभी आपको दिए हैं आगे, वेयर यू कैन टेक अ ग्राउंड, इट हैज बीन हेल्ड दैट दीज आर वैलिड ग्राउंड्स फॉर कॉन्डोनेशन ऑफ डिले। देखिए ये कुछ एग्जांपल दिए हुए हमने, और कोर्ट्स कहती हैं इट शुड बी लिबरली कंस्ट्रूड, यानी अगर कोई भी सर्कमस्टांसेस हैं सो देन द अपील शुड नॉर्मली बी एडमिटेड। अब अगर quantum of stakes involved, importance of the issue are important, then delay should be condoned. If there is a subsequent decision of the Supreme Court or the High Court, जिससे मेरी पोजीशन बदल जाती है, पहले एक हाई कोर्ट की जजमेंट थी जो मेरे अगेंस्ट थी तो मैंने अपील नहीं फाइल करी, नाउ सुप्रीम कोर्ट कम्स इन माय फेवर, so even if the limitation period has expired, I can still file an appeal along with condonation application. अगर कोई दूसरी रेमेडी परस्यू करने के लिए मेरे कुछ टाइम वेस्ट हो गया, उसको भी रीजन बन जाता है फॉर सीकिंग कंडोनेशन। बाकी नॉर्मल सर्कमस्टेंसेस तो है ही है, अगर एसएससी बीमार हो गया या उसका काउंसिल अवेलेबल नहीं था, काउंसिल वाज सिक, या जैसे आज की सिचुएशंस हैं, सो इन दीज सर्कमस्टेंसेस आई कैन ऑलवेज अप्लाई फॉर ए condonation of the delay. Delay due to reason that director, CEO had taken a decision not to file an appeal, that person has resigned, then an opinion was given to me that we should file an appeal, so I can apply again along with the application for condonation. Illness, medical certificate वगैरह ये सब तो normal circumstances हैं ही हैं where I can seek remedy for condonation. ये कुछ case laws मैंने इसमें दिए हुए हैं which can be helpful when I am filing an application for the condonation. अब मुझे फीस कितनी देनी है? This scale of fees has also been prescribed. I should deposit that fees online, and the details of the payment should be filled in the form 35 that I filed with for the appeal. 250 से लेकर 1000 रुपए तक की फीस है. So this fees should be paid before the appeal is filed. अब एक क्वेश्चन जो आता है कि हाउ मच टैक्स इज टू बी पेड बिफोर फाइलिंग द अपील. अब इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस में, सर्विस टैक्स में जब आप अपील फाइल करते हैं, देयर आर सम रिक्विजिट्स ऑफ प्री डिपॉजिट. आई थिंक अबाउट 15% या 25% जितनी डिमांड है उसको पे करना पड़ता है बिफोर यू फाइल द अपील. इनकम टैक्स में ऐसी कोई रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है फॉर प्री डिपॉजिट ऑफ एनी टैक्सेस. All that is required is that your tax as per return filed, जो आपने रिटर्न फाइल करी थी उसके हिसाब से कितना टैक्स बनता है, that should be paid before filing the appeal. So only your self assessment tax is required to be paid. अगर आपने रिटर्न नहीं फाइल करी थी, it is an ex parte order, then assessee should have paid the amount equal to the advance tax which was payable by him. That is the tax payable on income assessed under 144 or 150. तो ये टैक्स मुझे पे करना है जरूरी. Then I can file an appeal. जितनी मेरी disputed tax liability है, disputed tax liability को मुझे पे करने की जरूरत नहीं है. वो हम देखेंगे कि स्टे ऑफ डिमांड के लिए जब हम जाएंगे तब मुझे क्या करना है, that is a different matter. But for filing an appeal, there is no prerequisite to pay any taxes before the appeal is filed. अगर मैंने टैक्स रिटर्न का नहीं भी पे करा, then also I can file an appeal and apply to the commissioner to accept my appeal if there are good and sufficient reasons for which I could not pay the tax. Some of these reasons I have again enumerated here. अगर एसएससी के लॉसेस हो गए बाद में, because of the losses his cash liquidity crunch is there, he cannot deposit the tax. If he can explain those circumstances, then the appeal may be accepted even without payment of the taxes. If there is financial instability, if there is an attachment of the property, or there are no other sources of income, there is no liquidity available, these are some of the cases where it has been held to be good and sufficient reason where an appeal may be admitted even without payment of the taxes. अब Form 35 is the main memorandum of the appeal. एक prescribed form है Form 35 which I have to file when I file my appeal before the commissioner. अब as we were seeing, this Form 35 has to be submitted electronically. अब 1 मार्च 2016 के बाद there is no provision for filing any appeal manually. So all appeals have to be statutorily filed electronically only. अब कुछ डिटेल्स जो prerequisite है, PAN number, address, phone number, mail, all these are given in the form. All these columns have to be appropriately filled in. Please ensure that you do not leave any column blank. अगर आपने कॉलम ब्लैंक छोड़ दिए तो आपकी अपील इनवैलिड भी हो सकती है, डिफेक्टिव भी हो सकती है, इनवैलिड भी हो सकती है. सो प्लीज ट्राई टू फिल इन ऑल द डिटेल्स इन द फॉर्म 35. असेसमेंट ईयर को प्रॉपरली सिलेक्ट करें. इफ यू मेंशन द रॉन्ग असेसमेंट ईयर तो आपकी सारी प्रोसीडिंग्स उससे खराब हो जाएगी. Details of the order against which the appeal has been filed, section subsection under which the order was passed. अगर आपका ऑर्डर 143 में पास हुआ है तो प्लीज मेंशन करेक्टली ऑर्डर पास अंडर सेक्शन 143 और इट इज अंडर 147 या जो भी करेक्ट सेक्शन है. 154 के ऑर्डर के अगेंस्ट अपील कर रहे हैं तो मेंशन ऑर्डर अंडर सेक्शन 154। तो ये सेक्शन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट अगेंस्ट विच यू आर फाइलिंग द अपील। एक उसमें कॉलम और भी है दैट इफ फॉर एनी अदर असेसमेंट योर अपील इज ऑलरेडी पेंडिंग, तो उसकी भी डिटेल्स आपको इस फॉर्म में देनी है। एंड इफ द इश्यूज इन्वॉल्व्ड इन वेरियस अपील्स आर द सेम, देन दे माइट टेक अप ऑल द अपील्स टुगेदर। तो इससे आपकी डिस्पोजल भी जल्दी हो जाएगी एंड ऑल द अपील्स विल बी मेंशन्ड एट वन प्लेस। तो इसलिए जितनी भी पेंडिंग अपील्स हैं, प्लीज मेंशन ऑल दोज इन द फॉर्म 35। ठीक है, इसमें फिर आगे कॉलम आता है, इफ अपील रिलेट्स टू एनी असेसमेंट प्रोवाइड डिटेल्स ऑफ अपील अमाउंट इनकम असेस्ड। ये जो पुरानी आपकी अपील्स पेंडिंग है उसकी सारी डिटेल्स आपने इसमें देनी है। अगर करंट अपील आपकी पेनल्टी के अगेंस्ट है तो पेनल्टी ऑर्डर की भी कॉपी साथ देनी है, और अगर उसके अगेंस्ट कोई ऑलरेडी अपील फाइल्ड है तो उसकी डिटेल्स फॉर्म में जाएंगी। बाकी टैक्सेस कितने पेड है उसका कोड नंबर वगैरह, बीएसआर कोड। दो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जो फॉर्म 35 का क्रक्स है, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स इन फॉर्म 35 is a statement of facts and the grounds of appeal। इन दोनों को हम आगे डिटेल में भी अभी डिस्कस करते हैं। अब बिकॉज दीज फॉर्म्स आर नाउ बीइंग फाइल्ड इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली, इसलिए इसमें कंडीशन लगा दी गई हैं दैट स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट्स शुड नॉट एक्सीड 1000 वर्ड्स। ठीक है, एंड ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अपील, ईच ग्राउंड मस्ट नॉट एक्सीड 100 वर्ड्स। तो इसलिए आई हैव टू मेक माई ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अपील वेरी क्रिस्प and meaningful. They should not be argumentative. मुझे arguments नहीं देनी है when I am preparing my grounds. I only have to give the ground in very clear, crisp words. अभी हम उसका फॉर्मेट देखते हैं, उसके आगे उसको डिस्कस करेंगे। If there is a delay in the appeal, तो मुझे उसके साथ condonation of appeal के लिए भी, condonation of delay के लिए I must file an application। और अगर मैंने अपील फीस फाइल करी है जो भी मैंने आपको प्रिस्क्राइब बताई थी, रेंजिंग फ्रॉम 250 रुपीज टू 1000 रुपीज, तो उसकी चालान की डिटेल्स आपके फॉर्म 35 में जाएंगी। अब जब हम इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली फाइल करते हैं तो प्लीज बी केयरफुल कि ये जो साइंस हैं डिफरेंट, ये फॉर्म 35 स्पेशल कैरेक्टर्स को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा। तो इसलिए प्लीज डू नॉट इंसर्ट एनी ऑफ दीज स्पेशल कैरेक्टर्स इन द फॉर्म, अदरवाइज योर फॉर्म विल नॉट बी एक्सेप्टेड ऑनलाइन। फॉर्म 35 के साथ आपको क्या क्या डॉक्यूमेंट्स लगाने हैं? फर्स्टली द ऑर्डर अगेंस्ट विच अपील इज बीइंग फाइल्ड। अगर असेसमेंट ऑर्डर है तो असेसमेंट ऑर्डर की कॉपी जाएगी, डिमांड नोटिस की कॉपी जाएगी, और अगर पेनल्टी के अगेंस्ट अपील कर रहे हैं तो पेनल्टी का ऑर्डर एंड असेसमेंट ऑर्डर दोनों की कॉपी फॉर्म 35 के साथ जाएगी। जो आप अटैचमेंट्स लगा रहे हैं, दे शुड नॉट एक्सीड 50 MB इन साइज। अब ये सारी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फाइलिंग के साथ लिमिटेशंस हैं, तो इसलिए प्लीज इंश्योर दैट ऑल दीज आर बीइंग कंप्लाइड विद। PDF फॉर्मेट में या जिप फॉर्मेट में आप अपने सारे डॉक्यूमेंट जो साथ लगाने हैं उनको अटैच करिएगा। Appeal has to be verified through your digital signatures or through electronic verification code। ठीक है, फिजिकली साइन तो नहीं होता, तो इसलिए you have to verify them either by putting the digital signatures or electronic verification भी हो सकती है। दो इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर्स मैंने बताए थे, स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट्स और ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अपील। अब देखिए, जब स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट्स हम बनाते हैं, कोई प्रिस्क्राइब्ड फॉर्मेट नहीं है उसका, बट व्हेन आई एम प्रिपेयरिंग माय स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट्स आई हैव टू स्टेट ओनली द फैक्ट्स। मुझे उसमें लॉ पॉइंट्स में नहीं जाना है, आई हैव जस्ट टू मेंशन द फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस, राइट, which are relevant and directly or indirectly connected with the additions which are appealed against। तो जो मैं अपील फाइल कर रहा हूं उसके रेलेवेंट जितने फैक्ट्स हैं वो मुझे मेंशन करने हैं। they should be summarized. मैंने आपको बताया maximum space that I can use is 1000 words. So they have to be summarized briefly. They should be clear, not argumentative, and should cover the facts. If the assessing officer has not covered any fact, I should mention that also. Right? बहुत सारी submissions हम AO के सामने फाइल करते हैं, AO does not consider them. तो अगर आपने कोई submissions AO को दी हैं, which he has not considered at all, please mention that also in your statement of facts. Please mention that while letter dated so and so, these documents were submitted, AO has failed to take them into consideration. Right? And the facts should be comprehensive and complete. I will give you an example of these, although there is no prescribed format, but I'll give you a sample copy of this. ये सारे ये grounds पे आ गए. I will just see if I can give you these are the samples of the grounds. ठीक है, उसको भी डिस्कस करते हैं. Coming to the grounds of appeals. अब grounds of appeal जब मैं लेता हूं तो they are different from the statement of facts. Statement of facts में तो मैं सिर्फ अपने facts discuss कर रहा हूं that the assessee had taken a loan from so and so concern, confirmations were filed, however they have not been considered by the assessing officer. अब उसके जो appeal का ground है, ground ये बनेगा that the assessing officer has erred in making this addition. तो facts different है, grounds different है. When I am preparing my grounds of appeal, again there is no prescribed format. अब जब मैं grounds बनाता हूं तो सारे grounds हम ले लेंगे and then there are some grounds which I have to take on a precautionary side जिसको मैं हर अपील में जरूर डाल दूं. जैसे एक ground second लिया हमने इसमें that the appellant craves leave to add, alter, amend, withdraw any or all grounds of appeal before or at the time of appeal proceedings. तो जब मेरी appeal की proceedings होंगी, I am seeking a leave to add or alter any grounds of appeal. तो ये भी mention करना मेरे grounds में essential हो जाता है. Same grounds को बार-बार repeat करने की जरूरत नहीं है. If you have taken a ground, mention that clearly और उसको बार-बार repeat करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Levy of interest should be taken as a ground of appeal. Although there is no appeal provided for the quantum of the interest, but I can challenge the levy of interest itself. तो इसलिए हम एक general ground ले लेते हैं that provisions of section 234A, B and C are not applicable in this case. So I'm not challenging the quantum of the interest. I'm only challenging the levy of the interest. That can be your ground of appeal. एक general ground और लेते हैं जैसे मैंने लिखा based on the issue opportunity of being heard or principle of natural justice can also be taken as a ground. ये तो आप हर एक में ले लीजिए that the assessment order has been passed without following the proper principles of natural justice. इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें मेरी कवर हो जाती हैं. तो इसलिए some of the grounds तो आपको specific लेने पड़ेंगे, कुछ grounds आप general भी अपने grounds of appeal में डाल दीजिए. ये मैंने एक specimen बनाया हुआ है grounds of appeal के लिए. अब ये बेसिकली एक अगर ऑर्डर अंडर 147 अगर पास हुआ है तो उसके लिए हम क्या क्या ग्राउंड्स लेंगे. पहला ग्राउंड हमने लिया that on the facts and circumstances of the case the order passed by the learned assessing officer is bad both in eyes of law and on facts. अब एक जनरल ग्राउंड ले लिया सबसे पहले ताकि अगर कोई पॉइंट मेरा रह भी जाता है तो at the time of argument I can take that it is covered under the जनरल ग्राउंड. उसके बाद में स्पेसिफिक ग्राउंड्स पे आता हूं that on the facts and circumstances of the case and in law learned assessing officer has erred in initiating and the proceedings under 147 as there is no fresh material based upon which notices under section 148 have been issued. अब अगर आप 148 147 के ऊपर लिटरेचर पढ़ेंगे so there are so many requirements before a notice can be issued under 147. One of the requirements is that there should be some fresh material before the assessing officer. He should apply his mind to that material. And then he should come to a reasoning that some income has escaped assessment. Then only proper notice under 147, 148 can be issued. So I can take all these as a ground of appeal also. कि उसके पास कोई fresh material नहीं था. So therefore proceedings under 148 itself will be quashed. अब इसमें second ground में हमने फिर ले लिया ये. Has erred in initiating the proceedings under 147 solely because of change of opinion. There are plenty of case laws where it has been held that 148 cannot be issued on basis of change of opinion. अगर कोई issue को original assessment में discuss करा जा चुका है and then no adverse findings were found, then that cannot be a ground for 148 later on. तो इसलिए मैं इसको भी अपने grounds में डाल लेता हूँ. फिर जनरल उसमें जो एडिशन हुई है उसके ऊपर एक दो ग्राउंड्स लेंगे. The learned assessing officer has erred on facts and law in making addition of 8 crore 30 lakhs under section 68 of the act, ignoring the facts and submissions of the assessee. अब कोई लोन लिया था मैंने या शेयर एप्लीकेशन मनी आई थी जिसकी उसने एडिशन कर दी, तो आई विल टेक दैट एज वन ऑफ द मेजर ग्राउंड्स. फिर ये जनरल ग्राउंड्स हमने लिए हैं सारे, that the assessing officer has erred on facts and law in completing the assessment on basis of assumptions and surmises and totally ignoring the facts of the case. अब जितने मेरी सबमिशंस थी मैंने कंफर्मेशंस फाइल करी, मैंने उस पार्टी की सारे बैलेंस शीट फाइल करी, मैंने उसके असेसमेंट ऑर्डर्स फाइल करे. The assessing officer has ignored all those facts. So then I will take that as a ground also. Without proper opportunity being heard, ये जनरल ग्राउंड हम ले लेते हैं. इंटरेस्ट का भी मैंने आपको बताया था एक ग्राउंड लेना चाहिए. ये दो जनरल ग्राउंड्स और हम डालते हैं, that the assessment order is arbitrary, illegal, bad in law and all these things. ये इसमें सारा हम लिटरेचर लिख देते हैं, so that later on if I find that the assessment order had some basic lacuna, I can cover under these grounds of appeal. So this is a specimen that I have given to you. Depending upon the facts of the case, depending upon the additions which have been made, I'll have to draft my grounds suitably. अब जब हम अपील फाइल करते हैं तो मेरी जो डिमांड क्रिएटेड थी उसका क्या होगा? Filing an appeal does not automatically stay the demand. Recovery of my demand and filing of appeal are altogether different proceedings. तो अगर मैंने अपील फाइल करी है, after filing the appeal, I should make an application for stay of the demand to the assessing officer. Now there is a clear-cut circular from CBDT, ये नंबर मैंने दिया हुआ इसमें, that assessing officer should normally grant the stay of demand if I deposit 20% of the disputed tax. अब ये 20% जो है ये गवर्नमेंट ने एक स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड फॉर्मूला निकाला है that if you deposit 20% of the demand, we will stay the balance demand. अब this is at times not even accepted by the assessing officer. वो कहता this is only recommendatory. I will grant stay only if you deposit 50% of the tax. अब इसके अगेंस्ट मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था, there is no appeal against this. I can only file a writ to the High Court and seek relief from the High Court. अब एक ये फ्लिपकार्ट का केस था कर्नाटक हाई कोर्ट के सामने, where there was a huge demand of hundreds of crores of rupees. अब assessee कहता है कि I cannot even deposit 20% of this. The assessing officer refused to stay the demand. Then they went to the High Court and the High Court said that stay may be granted without insisting on payment of 20% in cases of high-pitched assessments and where circumstances so warrant. तो अगर असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने डिमांड ही आपकी 100 करोड़ रुपए की बना दी एंड देन ही सेज कि आप उसका 20% जमा कराए, तो 20 करोड़ रुपीस भी असेसी कहां से कराएगा? सो देन द कोर्ट्स विल ग्रांट यू रेलेवेंट रिलीफ, और कोर्ट्स इसमें 5%, 10% कुछ भी रीजनेबल समझ के उतने पे भी आपको स्टे कर सकते हैं. द स्टे पिटिशन इज टू बी डिस्पोज्ड ऑफ विद इन 2 वीक्स ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ द पिटिशन. ये भी सीबीटीटी का सर्कुलर है. अब व्हाट कैन बी अ ग्राउंड ऑफ अपील फॉर स्टे? पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ फंड्स और लिक्विडिटी नहीं है. आप अपनी बैलेंस शीट फाइल करें, आप अपनी बैंक स्टेटमेंट्स फाइल करें. यू कैन शो टू द असेसिंग ऑफिसर दैट वी हैव नो मनी टू पे द डिमांड एंड द डिमांड इज हाई पिच्ड व्हिच इज नॉट रीजनेबल. तो उस केस में आप 20% से कम पे भी आप स्टे ऑब्टेन कर सकते हैं. Even the commissioner appeals has a right to grant stay. Although we have seen that the CIT appeal is very reluctant, they normally will not grant the stay. वो कहेंगे आप administrative commissioner के पास जाएं. But yes, they have the power that has been held by various courts also, that if the CIT appeal feels appropriate, even he can grant a stay of the demand. While granting the stay, the assessing officer can impose certain restrictions also. वो ये भी कह सकता है कि 6 महीने में we will review. If you have cooperated in the earlier disposal of appeal, only then the stay will continue. अब कई बार एसएससी क्या करते हैं कि अपील फाइल कर दी and then they do not pursue that appeal. They keep asking for adjournments and keep delaying the finalization of the appeal. So in that case, the assessing officer need not stay the demand indefinitely. He can review it and see whether the assessee is cooperating in the finalization of the appeal or not. अगर अपील फाइल करने के बाद subsequently कोई आपके रिफंड बनते हैं, तो naturally the department does not grant that refund to you. They will keep adjusting that against the pending demand. अगला इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आता है that once I have filed an appeal, can I withdraw the appeal on my own? देखिए, अपील फाइल करना आपका प्रेरोगेटिव है, आपका राइट है, बट अपील फाइल करने के बाद उसको विड्रॉ करना इज नॉट योर राइट. Once an appeal has been filed, then that appeal is subject to adjudication. उसके ऊपर ऑर्डर पास करना is the right of the commissioner appeals. And we will see later on that that power includes a power of enhancement also. तो अगर CIT appeal को लगता है कि ऑर्डर, असेसमेंट ऑर्डर ठीक से नहीं पास हुआ, he can even enhance that appeal, that order. तो इसलिए you do not have a right to withdraw the appeal. If you want to withdraw the appeal, you have to seek permission from the commissioner appeals. So commissioner appeals को आप application file करेंगे that because of so and so reasons I want to withdraw my appeal. And if the commissioner appeals is satisfied, even only then he will allow you to withdraw the appeal. Right? So these are some of the important cases where it has been held that as a matter of right, you do not have a right to withdraw the appeal. कुछ सर्कमस्टांसेस में अपील को डिफेक्टिव भी डिक्लेयर कर देते हैं. When will the appeal be considered to be defective? आपने अपील के फॉर्म को ठीक से नहीं भरा, आपने जो रिक्वायर्ड फीस थी वो पे नहीं करी, जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स अटैच करने थे वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स अटैच नहीं करे. इन ऑल केसेस द अपील इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी डिफेक्टिव. अब अगर अपील डिफेक्टिव है तो क्या रिजल्ट होगा? शुड द अपील बी डिसमिस्ड इन लिमिट? ऐसा नहीं है. कोर्ट ने कहा है देयर इज एनी डिफेक्ट, that defect should be intimated to the assessee and some time should be given to him to cure that defect. एक reasonable time आपको दिया जाएगा within which that defect should be removed. So these are again some cases. Bombay High Court की भी judgment है, Chandigarh Tribunal की judgment है that appeal cannot be dismissed for defect in form without giving opportunity to the assessee. So it is required that an opportunity should be given to the assessee, point out the defect and give him time to remove that defect. Filing of additional evidence. अब ये अगेन एक बहुत कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल सा मैटर है. नॉर्मली इट इज रिक्वायर्ड दैट आपने अपने क्लेम के लिए जो भी एविडेंस फाइल करना है, दैट एविडेंस शुड बी फाइल्ड बिफोर द असेसिंग ऑफिसर. ठीक है. सो व्हेन यू आर गोइंग थ्रू द असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग्स सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है. असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग्स में जब भी आपको लगता है कि कोई असेसिंग ऑफिसर आपकी कुछ एडिशन करने जा रहा है, प्लीज इंश्योर दैट व्हाटएवर एविडेंस यू हैव इन योर पोजीशन, प्लीज ब्रिंग दैट ऑन रिकॉर्ड. आपने एफिडेविट फाइल करना है, आपने पार्टीज की कंफर्मेशन फाइल करनी है, आपने बैंक स्टेटमेंट्स फाइल करनी है, आपने बिल्स फाइल करने हैं. प्लीज प्रोड्यूस ऑल दोज बिफोर द असेसिंग ऑफिसर, ब्रिंग दैट ऑन रिकॉर्ड. अगर कोई एविडेंस आप असेसिंग ऑफिसर के पास नहीं दे पाए एंड सब्सिक्वेंटली यू वांट टू ब्रिंग दैट ऑन रिकॉर्ड, देन देयर इज अ लॉन्ग प्रोसीजर टू बी फॉलोड. सो बेस्ट थिंग इज दैट लेट दैट रिकॉर्ड बी देयर बिफोर द असेसिंग ऑफिसर. वेदर ही कंसीडर्स दैट और नॉट कंसीडर्ड, दैट इज अ सेपरेट एस्पेक्ट. आप असेसिंग ऑफिसर से रिक्वेस्ट करें कि प्लीज मेरा एविडेंस आप लगा लीजिए, यू मे मेक द एडिशन व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू, but please put this evidence on record. ये सारा आपको अपील्स में बहुत हेल्प करेगा. अब कमिश्नर अपील्स के पास अगर मैं कोई फ्रेश एविडेंस देना चाहूं, so then I am covered by rule 46A. इनकम टैक्स रूल्स में रूल 46A बताता है under what circumstances can you produce fresh evidence. Additional evidence can be produced at the first appellate stage. कोई प्रिस्क्राइब फॉर्मेट नहीं है. अब 4 कंडीशंस है इसमें 46A की, अगर उसमें आप किसी में फॉल करेंगे देन फ्रेश एविडेंस कैन बी एडमिटेड. ये 4 सर्कमस्टांसेस हैं. अगर असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने आपका कुछ एविडेंस लेने से रिफ्यूज कर दिया था, दिस इज द फर्स्ट केस वेयर AO हैज रिफ्यूज्ड टू एडमिट द एविडेंस व्हिच ought to have been admitted. Then you can file fresh evidence before the CITP. Where the appellant was prevented by sufficient cause from producing the evidence which he was called upon to produce by the assessing officer. Assessing officer ने आपको कहा कि अपनी books of accounts produce करें. Your books of accounts were seized by the, let us say, the GST authorities. So they were in possession of the GST authorities. They were not available with you. In that case, you were prevented by sufficient cause. You could not produce them because you did not have the books of accounts. So now you want to produce them, then you can do that under Rule 46E. Third case है where the appellant was prevented by sufficient cause from producing before the AO any evidence which is relevant to any ground of appeal. अब assessing officer ने कहा आपको confirmation लाइए पार्टी से. You are written to the party, but party was sick, party was hospitalized. That person could not give you the confirmation within that time. अब assessment order जब पास हो गया, उसके बाद आपके पास वो confirmation आती है. So then you can produce that before the assessing officer, before the CITP, explain the circumstances, and then he may admit your additional evidence. Fourth case है where the AO has made the order without giving sufficient opportunity to deduce the evidence relevant for any ground. आपको opportunity ही नहीं दी. So then in these 4 circumstances, Rule 46A says that you can submit additional evidence before the CITP, which CIT may at its discretion admit. अब CIT जब admit करता है additional evidence को, तो पहले वो कॉपी उसकी भेजता है टू द असेसिंग ऑफिसर, असेसिंग ऑफिसर से उसके ऊपर कमेंट मंगाता है, and then only he will admit that additional evidence, and then that can be a basis for granting relief to you. ये एक एप्लीकेशन हमने बनाई है फॉर फाइलिंग ऑफ फ्रेश एविडेंस। अब इसमें आपको एक अलग से पेपर बुक बनाइए, उसमें जितना आपने एडिशनल एविडेंस लगाना है उसको एक अलग से पेपर बुक में लगाइए, और you must mention the circumstances under which you could not produce these documents before the assessing officer. अब इसमें हमने लिखा है पहले पैराग्राफ में, it is requested to record kind permission for production of additional evidences as the assessee was not provided proper opportunity of being heard. तो ये मेरा ग्राउंड बनता है that मुझे proper opportunity नहीं दी गई. Besides, the evidences go to the very root of the matter and have a direct and substantial bearing in determining the correct income and the tax liability of the assessee. मुझे ये भी emphasize करना है that these documents are very essential for proving my case. ठीक है, तो अगर पहली बात कि ये क्यों नहीं प्रोड्यूस हुए, एंड सेकेंडली दैट दीज आर इंपॉर्टेंट डॉक्यूमेंट्स, तो ये सारी चीजें मुझे अपनी एप्लीकेशन में मेंशन करनी है। एक दो केस लॉज भी हमने उसमें दिए हुए हैं जिसमें उन्होंने कहा है दैट एडिशनल एविडेंस शुड बी टेकन ऑन रिकॉर्ड। तो इस तरीके से एक आप एप्लीकेशन बनाएंगे, एप्लीकेशन के साथ एक अलग पेपर बुक बनाइए, उसमें जितना भी एडिशनल एविडेंस आप दे रहे हैं उसको पेज नंबर वाइज लगाकर और उसको सबमिट करिए। इसी तरीके से अगर जब आपने ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अपील फाइल करे, अगर ग्राउंड्स में कुछ ऐसे ग्राउंड्स रह गए जो आप नहीं ले पाए, लेटर ऑन व्हेन यू आर परस्यूइंग द अपील आपको लगता है कि ये एक एडिशनल ग्राउंड लेना चाहिए, so then you can file an application for admitting of additional grounds of appeal. अब grounds of appeal के लिए again there is no specified format. CIT अपील अगर चाहे तो आपको अलाउ कर सकता है एडिशनल ग्राउंड्स, नहीं अगर मानेगा तो आपको रिजेक्ट भी कर सकता है। पर अगर आपके ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अपील जेन्युइन है, अगर कोई फर्दर इंक्वायरी की उसमें जरूरत नहीं है, स्पेशली इफ दीज आर लीगल इन नेचर, अगर लीगल ग्राउंड्स आप लेते हैं देन इवन द हायर अपेलेट अथॉरिटीज, CIT अपील या ट्राइब्यूनल भी आपके नए ग्राउंड को एडमिट कर लेगा। ये एक स्पेसिफिक बनाया हमने एप्लीकेशन फॉर एडिशनल ग्राउंड्स के लिए। अब कोई मैटर एक बाद में रेज हुआ जो पहले हमें नहीं पता था, एक नई कोर्ट की डिसीजन आई। अब जैसे एक डिसीजन इसमें आई 271(1)(c की पेनल्टी में कि अगर असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने नोटिस में पेनल्टी के स्ट्राइक डाउन नहीं करा कि व्हाट इज द चार्ज फॉर इम्पोजिंग पेनल्टी, इज इट कंसीलमेंट ऑफ इनकम और इज इट फर्निशिंग इनएक्यूरेट पर्टिकुलर्स, अगर उसने स्ट्राइक डाउन नहीं करा तो देन दैट नोटिस इटसेल्फ इज इनवैलिड। अब मुझे पहले इसके बारे में नहीं पता था, इसलिए मैंने इसको ग्राउंड्स में नहीं डाला। अब जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट इसके ऊपर आ गई, सो देन आई वांट टू टेक दैट एज अ ग्राउंड ऑफ अपील। तो अब मैं इसके लिए नया ग्राउंड लेता हूं, एज एन एडिशनल ग्राउंड आई रेज दिस ग्राउंड, एंड एक मैंने इसमें जजमेंट डाली सुप्रीम कोर्ट की, वेयर दे हैव सेड दैट इफ देयर इज नो फ्रेश इन्वेस्टिगेशन ऑफ फैक्ट्स, तो फिर मेरे नए ग्राउंड को एक्सेप्ट कर लेना चाहिए। तो इस तरीके से मैं एक एप्लीकेशन बनाकर CIT अपील को डालूंगा that please admit my additional ground of appeal. अब जब मेरी अपील हियरिंग में आएगी तो उसका क्या प्रोसीजर है? अब CIT appeal may at the time of appeal allow the appellant going to grounds of appeal not specified in the grounds, अभी हमने डिस्कस करा कि आप एडिशनल ग्राउंड्स लेना चाहें उसको ले लें। CIT अपील का ऑर्डर जो है राइटिंग में होना चाहिए, स्टेट्स ऑल पॉइंट्स फॉर कंसिडरेशन, may hear and decide such appeal within a period of 1 year from the end of the financial year. अब ये एक्ट में प्रोवाइडेड तो है that appeal should as far as possible be decided within 1 year, but ऐसा प्रैक्टिकली हमने देखा होता नहीं है. There are appeals pending for number of years together. और अभी तो ई प्रोसीडिंग्स में भी मैंने आपको बताया कुछ प्रोसीडिंग स्टार्ट नहीं हुई है. एक सर्कुलर है बोर्ड का that normally order should be passed by the CIT appeal within 15 days of the final hearing. तो जिस दिन हियरिंग हुई है उसके 15 दिन के ऑर्डर के अंदर CIT appeal has to pass the order. हियरिंग के टाइम पे we normally prepare a paper book. पेपर बुक का एक इंडेक्स भी बनाते हैं जिसका फॉर्मेट मैंने आपको दिया है. एक पेपर बुक के फॉर्म में अगर आप अपनी सबमिशंस देंगे, सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स देंगे, तो इट विल गिव यू टू एडवांटेजेस. एक तो आपकी इजी रेफरेंसिंग हो जाती है, आप आराम से सारे पेपर्स को रेफर कर सकते हैं. इवन व्हेन यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग योर सबमिशंस, उसमें जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट का आपने रेफरेंस देना है, आप सीधा सा उसका पेज नंबर डाल के रेफरेंस दे सकते हैं. सेकेंडली, योर अपील बिकम्स अ लिटिल मोर ऑथेंटिक. जो भी उसको पढ़ता है उसको पता चलता है दैट इज हैव बीन प्रॉपर्ली प्रिपेयर्ड. तो इसलिए अपील के लिए आप एक पेपर बुक के फॉर्म में बनाइए. सारी कंफर्मेशन, सारे जितने भी आपने स्टेटमेंट्स, जितने भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स पे आपने रिलाई करना है, उनको पेपर बुक के फॉर्म में एक सारा सबमिट करें. ये सारी चीजें अब इन द प्रेजेंट सर्कमस्टांसेस ये सारी इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली फाइल होंगी. तो इसके कुछ प्रोग्राम्स भी हैं. एक अबाउट का प्रोग्राम है जिसमें आपकी पेज नंबरिंग भी ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाती है, तो आप उसको भी सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं. तो उसकी कुछ कॉस्टिंग होती है, उसमें आपके पेज नंबरिंग आराम से उसमें इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्म में ही हो जाती है. पेपर बुक में एक केस सर्टिफिकेट भी अगर आप दे देंगे तो बहुत हेल्पफुल रहेगा. सर्टिफाइड दैट ऑल द डॉक्यूमेंट्स इन द अबव पेपर बुक वर बिफोर द असेसिंग ऑफिसर ड्यूरिंग द असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग्स. तो ये आप सर्टिफाई कर रहे हैं कि इसमें कोई एडिशनल डॉक्यूमेंट्स नहीं है. सो दिस विल हेल्प द CIT appeal also, because then he will not have to refer any of these documents to the assessing officer. अब जितनी हम हाई कोर्ट की, सुप्रीम कोर्ट की, ट्राइब्यूनल की जजमेंट्स रेफर करते हैं अपनी सबमिशंस में, हाउ फार आर दे बाइंडिंग ऑन द कमिश्नर. अब जुडिशियल डिसिप्लिन ये कहता है that all judgments pronounced by the Supreme Court are binding on all courts in India. CIT appeal is also considered to be a court. तो Supreme Court के judgments अब सारे court पे binding है. It is obviously binding on the CIT appeal also. All judgments pronounced by the jurisdictional high court and ITAT are binding on the CIT. तो अगर jurisdictional high court की कोई judgment है या jurisdictional ITAT की कोई जजमेंट है, these are binding on the CIT. CIT appeal ये नहीं लिख सकता that I do not agree with this judgment. It is a judgment of an higher authority which is binding on him. He may try to differentiate it. वो ये तो कह सकता है कि इसका fact circumstances different है, तो इसलिए that judgment is not applicable. But he cannot say that I am not going by this judgment. I do not agree with this judgment. अगर कोर्ट्स की कोई कंफ्लिक्टिंग जजमेंट है, तो देन द रूल सेज दैट द लेटर डिसीजन इज टू बी प्रेफर्ड. एंड इफ द अर्लियर डिसीजन हैज बीन कंसीडर्ड इन द लेटर जजमेंट, देन इट बिकम्स ऑल द मोर बाइंडिंग ऑन द CIT. अगर एसएससी के अपने ही केस में कोई अर्लियर में जजमेंट है, देन दैट जजमेंट इज बाइंडिंग ऑन द CIT also. ठीक है. Precedent ceases to have binding effect. अगर कोई ट्राइब्यूनल की जजमेंट है जो एसएससी की फेवर में थी, बट सब्सिक्वेंटली वो हाई कोर्ट से ओवररूल हो गई, सो देन इट हैज नो बाइंडिंग इफेक्ट. ठीक है ना. या उसको डिफरेंट ग्राउंड पे उसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया गया, या वो नॉन स्पीकिंग जजमेंट है. कई बार आप सुप्रीम कोर्ट की SLP की जजमेंट देखेंगे, उसमें सिर्फ एक लाइन में डिसमिस कर देते हैं, डिसमिस विदाउट गिविंग एनी रीजन. तो वो फिर बाइंडिंग जजमेंट नहीं होती, उसमें उन्होंने अपना माइंड नहीं स्पीक आउट करा है. सो ओनली ऑन द फैक्ट्स ऑफ दैट केस दे माइट हैव डिसमिस्ड एज SLP. तो उसकी बाइंडिंग नेचर नहीं मानी जाती है. Under what circumstances can I apply for an early hearing? अब ये केसेस जब फिजिकली हियर होते थे, जब मैनुअली अपील्स हो रही थी, तब तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था. आज की डेट में जब ये सारा इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली चल रहा है, सब ई प्रोसीडिंग्स चल रही हैं, तो आई एम नॉट श्योर whether they will have a system of early hearing or not. But yes, we can always make an application for early hearing, especially where there is an immense pressure for payment of demand. अगर एसएससी की huge demand है and the department is pressing for the payment of the demand, the SSC may make an application that my appeal may be heard on an early basis. या कोई covered matter है, my appeals of the earlier years have already been decided by the ITAT और मेरी फेवर में जजमेंट है, I can apply to the CITP कि मेरा covered matter है, इसको जल्दी से निकालो. या कोई सर्कुलर नोटिफिकेशन से कवर हो गया मेरा मैटर, तो उसके लिए भी मैं अर्ली डिस्पोजल की बात कर सकता हूं. पावर ऑफ एनहांसमेंट, अब ये मैंने बताया था आपको, when you file an appeal before the CIT appeal, what is his power? He can confirm the order, he can grant you relief. More important, he also has a power to enhance the assessment. अगर कोई एडिशन असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने नहीं करी या उसमें कम एडिशन करी है, the CIT appeal feels that the order was not proper, CIT appeal आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी देकर उसको एनहांस भी कर सकता है. So he can confirm, reduce, enhance और annul the assessment. Annul की पावर अब इनसे विड्रॉ कर ली गई है, so they cannot annul the assessment now. This power is only with the tribunal. पेनल्टी में भी ऐसे रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं, एनहांस भी कर सकते हैं. अब एनहांसमेंट अगर करनी है तो विदाउट रीजनेबल अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ शो कॉज वो आपकी एनहांसमेंट नहीं करेंगे, बट आफ्टर गिविंग अ नोटिस एनहांसमेंट भी हो सकती है. अब एनहांसमेंट के ऊपर कुछ केसेस हैं कि अगर ईओ ने किसी इशू को कंसिडर ही नहीं करा, कोई एडिशन ही नहीं करी उसने उस सोर्स ऑफ इनकम के ऊपर, कैन सीआईटी स्टिल मेक एन एडिशन? तो इसमें लिखा है सीआईटी कैन मेक एडिशन इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ न्यू सोर्स ऑफ इनकम इफ इट हैज नॉट बीन कंसीडर्ड बाय. ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट है. सो दिस इज अ वेरी वाइड पावर गिवन टू सीआईटी. CIT may consider decide any matter arising out of the proceedings with notwithstanding such matter was not raised before the CIT. तो अगर मैंने ground नहीं भी लिया, but CIT feels that this matter was not discussed by the AO and it needs to be assessed, he can even take up that. तो ये कुछ judgments हैं जहां पर कि even enhancement of assessment is permitted by the CIT. ये भी उसी के ऊपर कुछ केसेस हैं. कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट इश्यूज मैं इसमें डिस्कस करना चाहूंगा विच वी शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ, जो हमें काफी रिलीफ प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं इन मेनी केसेस. एक कंसेप्ट है पीक थ्योरी का. पीक थ्योरी
सर कुछ क्वेरी ले लें क्या?
ये एक दो और पॉइंट डिस्कस करूंगा, उसके बाद हम क्वेरी की.
Namit Jain ji, you want to ask anything? Namit Jain ji, you want to ask anything from Dr. Ravi Gupta ji?
No sir.
Yeah, thank you.
ठीक है सर. पॉइंट ये कवर करके then we will have sufficient time for queries also. एक कंसेप्ट है पीक थ्योरी का. पीक थ्योरी हम तब लगाते हैं वे कुछ मेरे डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिल जाएं या मेरा कोई अकाउंट मिल जाए which has not been disclosed. assessing officer normally क्या करेगा, अगर मेरी कोई लेट से अनडिस्क्लोज्ड बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स मिल जाती है या मेरा कोई अनडिस्क्लोज्ड बैंक अकाउंट मिल जाता है, तो assessing officer क्या करता है कि उसके सारे डेबिट्स, उसके सारे क्रेडिट्स को अनएक्सप्लेन्ड मान के मेरी एडिशन करता है. वो कहता है जी जो डेबिट्स है वो अनएक्सप्लेन्ड एक्सपेंडिचर है, जितने क्रेडिट्स है वो आपके अनएक्सप्लेन्ड इनकम है, तो वो सारी मेरी एडिशंस कर देता है. इस केस में इफ आई ओन दैट डॉक्यूमेंट, अगर मैं कह दूं कि ये बैंक अकाउंट मेरा ही है, देन And if I say that this relates to my business, then I can take the benefit of the peak theory. पीक थ्योरी क्या कहती है कि मैंने 20 लाख रुपए जमा करे, उसी में से मैंने 18 लाख निकाल लिए, फिर मैंने 15 लाख जमा कर दिए, फिर मैंने 5 लाख निकाल लिए। अगर ये रनिंग अकाउंट चल रहा है तो वो कहता है एडिशन शुड बी मेक ऑफ द पीक क्रेडिट, जितना मैक्सिमम था। बाकी ये एज्यूम हो जाएगा कि उसी में से पैसा आया, उसी में से गया। इट कुड बी माय सेल एंड परचेज, मैंने परचेज भी उसी अकाउंट से करी, फिर उसी से सेल भी करी, और इट कुड बी इवन कैश डिपॉजिट्स। तो उसमें मुझे ये पीक थ्योरी का बेनिफिट मिल सकता है, प्रोवाइडेड आई एडमिट दैट दिस इज रिलेटिंग टू माय बिजनेस एंड दिस इज माय ओन अकाउंट। तो अगर मैं दो चीजें एडमिट करता हूं तो मुझे पीक थ्योरी के बेसिस पे एडिशन करने का उसमें बेनिफिट मिल जाएगा, इंस्टेड ऑफ एडिंग ऑल द डेबिट्स ऑल द क्रेडिट्स। अगर मेरा ये अकाउंट डिफरेंट ईयर्स में जाता है, so then in which year will I make that addition? उसके लिए भी एक फॉर्मूला इसमें दिया हुआ है कि सपोजिंग 16-17 में मेरा पीक आया 20 लाख रुपए का, तो एडिशन करेंगे 20 लाख की। और अगर 17-18 में उसी अकाउंट में मेरा पीक चले जाता है 30 लाख का, 20 लाख की एडिशन ऑलरेडी हो चुकी है, तो इस साल में सिर्फ 10 लाख की एडिशन होगी। और अगर थर्ड ईयर में मेरा पीक 15 लाख का जाता है, जिसमें ऑलरेडी एडिशन मेरी जो है 30 लाख की हो चुकी है, नो एडिशन विल बी मेड इन दिस ईयर। और अगले साल में फिर 35 लाख का पीक है, तो 30 लाख एडिशन पहले हो चुकी है, देन एडिशन शुड बी ओनली ऑफ 5 लाख। तो मेरे टोटल एडिशन पीक 4 साल का मिलाकर 35 लाख बना था, उसमें से इस तरीके से 20 लाख यहां एडिशन होगी, 10 लाख यहां होगी, 5 लाख यहां। तो इंस्टेड ऑफ एडिंग ऑल द डेबिट्स ऑल द क्रेडिट्स, अगर मैं पीक थ्योरी का एडवांटेज लेना चाहूं, देन आई विल पे टैक्स ओनली ऑन द पीक अमाउंट। एक प्रिंसिपल होता है टेलीस्कोपिंग का, यह भी एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट प्रिंसिपल है कि अगर मेरी पिछले सालों में कुछ एडिशंस हो गई थी और उन एडिशंस को मैंने चैलेंज नहीं करा, जिसको हम कहते हैं एडहॉक एडिशंस, मेरे कुछ एक्सपेंसेस डिसअलाउ हो गए, मेरे 10 लाख 20 लाख के एक्सपेंसेस उन्होंने डिसअलाउ कर दिया, आई डिड नॉट फाइल एन अपील, उसके अगेंस्ट पेनल्टी भी नहीं लगी, बट सब्सिक्वेंट ईयर्स में मेरी कुछ अनएक्सप्लेन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट मिल जाती है, तो कैन आई टेक बेनिफिट ऑफ द एडिशंस व्हिच आर मेड इन द अर्लियर ईयर्स व्हिच आर नॉट कंटेस्टेड? तो टेलीस्कोपिंग का प्रिंसिपल मुझे ये अलाउ करता है। Where an income is taxed or an addition is made to the taxable income in an earlier year, assessee may claim that the income arising in the subsequent year is sourced out of that income. तो अगर मेरी पिछले सालों में, लेट अस से पिछले 4-5 सालों में 25-25 लाख रुपए की एडिशन हुई थी, which I have not challenged, तो उसकी एडिशन का मैं बेनिफिट अपने अगले सालों में कुछ भी अनएक्सप्लेन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए ले सकता हूं कि ये अल्टीमेटली आपने मेरी इनकम तो मानी थी ना, आई हैव पेड टैक्स ऑन दैट इनकम, तो वो इनकम कहां गई? वो इनकम मेरी इस प्रॉपर्टी में इन्वेस्ट हुई। सो दैट इज कॉल्ड द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ टेलीस्कोपिंग। ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी एक्सेप्ट करा है कुछ केसेस में, सो आई कैन टेक बेनिफिट ऑफ दिस प्रिंसिपल ऑल्सो। एक कंसेप्ट आजकल जो चल रहा है वो डबल एडिशन का। अगर मैंने कोई इनकम ऑलरेडी ऑफर कर चुका था अपने रिटर्न में, अब जैसे ये केसेस जो बहुत सारे आए हैं डिमोनेटाइजेशन पीरियड के, जहां पर एसएससी ने अपनी बुक्स में कुछ सेल दिखा रखी, उसने सेल दिखा दी, उसकी कॉरस्पॉन्डिंग इनकम भी दिखाई थी। नाउ असेसिंग ऑफिसर कहता है कि ये सेल सारी आपकी बोगस है, और वो सारी मेरी इनकम मान लेता है, एंड ये अप्लाइज 115 बीपीई, और उसमें 60% का टैक्स भी लगा देता है। What is the remedy available to me? See, this is an income which I have already disclosed. मैंने सेल्स दिखाई थी, उसका प्रॉफिट भी दिखाया है। Assessing officer does not normally reject my books also. तो मेरी बुक्स में उसने एक्सेप्ट करी, मेरी सेल को भी एक्सेप्ट करा, and then again he is making an addition of the entire sale. So this is nothing but double addition. So I have to take this ground also that the same income cannot be taxed twice. तो ये काफी सारे केसेस हैं हमारे पास जहां पर कि डबल एडिशन को उन्होंने डिलीट करा है। ऐसे ही मेरे पास कुछ केसेस अभी आए जहां पर एसएससी ने कुछ स्पेकुलेटिव इनकम अपनी बुक्स में डिक्लेयर करी थी। इन हिज पीएनएल अकाउंट उसने कहा कि ये कमोडिटी ट्रेडिंग का प्रॉफिट है। अब असेसिंग ऑफिसर के पास इंफॉर्मेशन आई कि जिससे मैंने कमोडिटी प्रॉफिट लिया था वो एंट्री प्रोवाइडर है। तो असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने क्या करा कि मेरी सारी की सारी इनकम को उसने एंट्री मानकर, अनएक्सप्लेन्ड इन्वेस्टमेंट मानकर, अनएक्सप्लेन्ड इनकम, उसको दोबारा से एडिशन कर दिया। Now the fact is that I have already declared that in my return. Maybe it is an accommodation entry, maybe I am not denying it, but क्या double addition हो सकती है? When an income has already been declared in my return, how can you make a double addition of that income? तो ये मेरे पास एक अच्छा ग्राउंड बन जाता है that I have already declared this income, therefore it cannot be added twice. तो ये सारे कुछ केसेस हैं जो मेरी फेवर में आते हैं। अब ये सारे ई अपील प्रोसीडिंग्स है, ये सारी चीजें हमने पढ़ी हैं, देखी हैं। ये सारी, जैसे अनुज जी ने भी बताया था, फाइनेंस एक्ट 20 में गवर्नमेंट ने ये नोटिफिकेशन इशू करा था, एंड नाउ ऑल दीज अपील्स आर बीइंग कंडक्टेड इलेक्ट्रॉनिकली थ्रू दी ई प्रोसीडिंग्स। ई अपीलेट प्रोसीडिंग्स अलग बना दिया उन्होंने फोरम, उसका पूरा प्रोसीजर बना दिया है। नाउ इनफैक्ट अब जो प्रोसीजर उन्होंने बताया मैं उसको ब्रीफली एक्सप्लेन करता हूं। उन्होंने कहा व्हेन यू फाइल एन अपील इट विल बी असाइन्ड टू अ पर्टिकुलर सीआईटी। किसको असाइन करा? असेसी विल नॉट कम टू। नोटिस आपके पास जो आते हैं वो कोई पर्टिकुलर सीआईटी के नहीं आते, दे आर इशूड बाय द फेसलेस अपील सेंटर। एक प्रिंसिपल इन्होंने ये बनाया है कि जिस टाउन की, जिस सिटी की अपील होगी उस सिटी में सीआईटी अपील नहीं सुनेगा। सो अगर अपील दिल्ली की है तो नो सीआईटी अपील इन दिल्ली विल हियर दैट, इट विल बी हर्ड बाय समवन आउटसाइड दिल्ली। अब कौन सुनेगा हमें नहीं पता। One CIT appeal will pass a draft order on the basis of my submission. When I make my submission, they will send to the concerned officer. वो अपना ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर बनाएगा, he will send it to the appeal center. अपील सेंटर अपने उसमें फॉर्मूला बनाते हैं, अपना बेसिस बनाते हैं कि whether to accept that or not. उनका अपना, जैसे अनुज जी ने बताया, उनका अपना डेटा माइनिंग है, अपनी उनकी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस है, एंड दे विल सी वेदर द ऑर्डर इज जस्टिफाइड और नॉट जस्टिफाइड, एंड इन सर्टेन स्पेसिफाइड सर्कमस्टांसेस दे मे रेफर इट टू अनदर सीआईटी। अब एक सीआईटी अपील ने ऑर्डर पास करा, ड्राफ्ट ऑर्डर था, इट इज सेंट टू अनदर सीआईटी अपील। अब second CIT appeal जो है, then again he will consider the first order, maybe pass another order. Then this appellate center will consider both the orders, will consider their artificial intelligence, and then they will pass a final order. So now this order that the assessee will receive may not be an order passed by one appellate authority. Right, so it might have been passed by 2 CIT appeals, and then based upon the artificial intelligence, based upon the data available with the National Appeal Center, then only you will receive the appeal order. Now this entire scheme has been subject of appeal before various high courts. It has been challenged before various high courts, especially one of the factors where if an assessee seeks an opportunity of personal hearing. अब देखिए, पर्सनल हियरिंग, अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड, इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रिंसिपल इन अपीलेट प्रोसीडिंग्स एट लीस्ट। अब कोर्ट्स का कहना है कि विदाउट पर्सनल हियरिंग, विदाउट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ बीइंग हर्ड, द अपीलेट प्रोसीडिंग्स आर नॉट वैलिड। अब इसमें एन डिस्क्रिशन इज बीन गिवन टू द फेसलेस अपील सेंटर टू अलाउ और नॉट टू अलाउ ए पर्सनल हियरिंग। Courts have given their mind that if personal hearing is not allowed, then the proceedings will not be held to be valid. अब जब आप अपील के अपने प्रोसीडिंग्स की अपनी सबमिशंस फाइल करते हैं, there also please make a separate application for seeking a personal hearing. When you seek a personal hearing, they will provide you an opportunity of hearing through a video conference. A video conference जब आप करेंगे, so that person who is hearing you, he can identify you. You will not be able to see that person. तो हम जिसको कह रहे हैं ना faceless है. So you do not know who is hearing you, but your arguments can be heard by an appellate authority. So please insist on a personal hearing. तो अपने submissions के साथ एक अलग से application लगाएं that you want to seek a personal hearing. So then they will be bound to give you a hearing in that matter. बाकी सारा proceedings तो इसमें prescribed है सारे, उसमें सारे additional grounds of appeal, further inquiry, अगर वो चाहे तो नेशनल ई असेसमेंट सेंटर को लिखेंगे, अगर फर्दर इंक्वायरी करानी है तो उसके लिए सारा प्रोसीजर इसमें प्रिस्क्राइब्ड है. ये सारा प्रोसीजर मैंने अभी आपको ब्रीफली डिस्कस करके बताया था. ये सारा कैसे उसको भेजेंगे, कितना उसका ऑर्डर आएगा, कैसे उसको रिकंसिडर करेंगे. अब ये जो प्रोसीजर इन्होंने इसमें प्रिस्क्राइब करा है कि एक सीआईटी अपील ऑर्डर बनाएगा, समवन एल्स विल रिव्यू दैट ऑर्डर. अब ऐसा प्रोविजन हमारे एक्ट में प्रोवाइडेड नहीं है. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में तो लिखा है कि सीआईटी अपील इज द फाइनल अथॉरिटी and he will pass the order. But ये जो सारी स्कीम है, this is a little different from the income tax act. तो इसलिए this is still subject to judicial review. इसमें से क्या चीजें अपहोल्ड होती हैं, क्या इसकी subject to verification है, ये सब चीजें अभी देखने वाली बात है. अब ये मैंने आपको बताया था, सेसी कैन मेक अ रिक्वेस्ट फॉर प्रोवाइडिंग अपॉर्चुनिटी ऑफ पर्सनल हियरिंग. ये नोटिफिकेशन इनका 2020 में इशू करा गया है. So please take advantage of this. File an application seeking personal hearing. This is all I had to make the presentation on the appeals before CIT appeals. I think Anuj, we can open the discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi Gupta sir. A very big round of applause to Dr. Ravi Gupta sir. And I think we can stop the screen sharing.
Sir.
Thank you sir. Thank you very much for very nice deliberation. Lot number of members are asking for the PPT, for the copy of the PPT. Can we share the copy of the PPT, sir?
Sir, I will send it to you right away. You can share it with all the members.
Thank you, sir. So nice of you.
आपको फॉरवर्ड कर दूंगा सर.
Thank you, sir. आप मुझे मेल या व्हाट्सएप कुछ भी कर दीजिए सर.
हाँ जी, अभी कर दूंगा.
Yeah. Thank you. Sir, we are having lot number of queries. One query is, when could we go for appeal post survey and search operations? When could we go for appeal post survey and search operations?
तो देखिए, सर्च के बाद आपकी असेसमेंट्स होंगी. सो एट द टाइम ऑफ सर्च देयर इज नो कॉज ऑफ फाइलिंग एन अपील. अभी तो सिर्फ सर्च ही हुई है ना. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि सर्च इम्प्रॉपर थी, सो देन यू कैन गो टू द हाई कोर्ट स्ट्रेट अवे, चैलेंज द सर्च इटसेल्फ. उसमें अपील का कोई प्रोविजन नहीं. अपील तो आपको तभी राइट मिलेगा व्हेन द ऑर्डर ऑफ असेसमेंट इज मेड बेस्ड ऑन द सर्च. पहले 153A 153C में ऑर्डर होते थे, अब 148 में ऑर्डर होंगे, 147 में. तो जब वो असेसमेंट ऑर्डर आएंगे, ओनली देन यू गेट द राइट टू फाइल एन अपील. सर्वे में भी, सर्वे तो एक पर्टिकुलर ईयर का ही होता है, नॉर्मली करंट ईयर का. आफ्टर दैट यू विल फाइल योर रिटर्न, एंड आफ्टर हैविंग फाइल्ड द रिटर्न, फिर जब असेसमेंट होगी, उस असेसमेंट को ही आप चैलेंज कर सकते हैं. तो योर राइट टू फाइल द अपील विल बी ओनली आफ्टर द असेसमेंट ऑर्डर इज रिसीव्ड.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Then one query is, can peak theory benefit can be taken even if the amount has not been taken while calculating total income?
देखिए, पीक थ्योरी का एडवांटेज तो मैं नॉर्मली कंसील्ड इनकम पे ही लूंगा ना. इफ इट वाज ऑलरेडी डिस्क्लोज्ड या मेरे रिटर्न में होता, तो फिर तो एडिशन की बात ही नहीं थी. आई वुड हैव चैलेंज्ड द एडिशन इटसेल्फ. बट अगर कोई अकाउंट है जो अनडिस्क्लोज था, तभी वो तो पूरी एडिशन बेनिफिट ऑफ द पीक थ्योरी. तो पीक थ्योरी नॉर्मली अनडिस्क्लोज इनकम पे ही लगाई जाती है.
Yeah, thank you. Then very senior member of Rajnandgaon, CA Paras Sajarji, whether an appeal may be filed before CIT appeal against a wrong charging of interest under section 234A, 234B, 234C, and wrong charging of fee under section 234F against tax computation errors in notice of demand.
अनुज जी, मैंने बताया था कि अपील, देयर इज नो प्रोविजन फॉर फाइलिंग एन अपील अगेंस्ट द चार्जिंग ऑफ द इंटरेस्ट, उसका प्रोविजन है नहीं इसमें। तो अगर मैं क्वांटम को चैलेंज करूंगा तो दैट बी अ रॉन्ग ग्राउंड ऑफ अपील बिकॉज इट इज नॉट प्रोवाइडेड। तो मैं इसलिए ये नहीं कह सकता दैट द इंटरेस्ट चार्ज अंडर 234A इज नॉट करेक्ट। आई कैन ओनली चैलेंज द लेवी ऑफ इंटरेस्ट इटसेल्फ। तो इसलिए मैं क्या करता हूं उसमें कि आई से दैट द interest charged under 234A, B or C is not valid in law। तो मैं उसका क्वांटम को चैलेंज नहीं कर सकता, मैं लेवी ऑफ इंटरेस्ट को चैलेंज करता हूं। 99% केसेस में CITs पे रिलीफ नहीं देते, बट इफ आई कैन एस्टैब्लिश दैट इट वाज रॉन्गली चार्ज, वो एक डायरेक्शन दे देते हैं टू द CIT अपील टू प्लीज रीचेक और रिकम्प्यूट द कैलकुलेशन।
या, थैंक यू। Then Paras Sajarji, our past chairman of Bhilai branch again, my query above is particularly related to a case where there is no addition or disallowance and the returned income is accepted, but interest has wrongly been charged, fee wrongly charged or tax wrongly computed.
Sir, in that case, as I told you, because there is no provision for filing the appeal, the right course would be to file a writ before the High Court. आप हाई कोर्ट में रेट फाइल करेंगे, अगर सब्सटैंशियल अमाउंट है तो हाई कोर्ट विल डेफिनेटली ग्रांट यू रिलीफ। वो कुछ भी नहीं करेंगे, वो सिर्फ डायरेक्शन दे देंगे टू द असेसिंग ऑफिसर दैट प्लीज चेक द इंटरेस्ट एंड प्रोवाइड रिलीफ इफ नेसेसरी। तो इसलिए रेमेडी लाइज बिफोर द हाई कोर्ट।
या, थैंक यू। देन CA नरेंद्र त्रिपाठी जी, whether demand could be furnished in the form of bank guarantee under the Income Tax Act.
Bank guarantee is a different thing, payment of tax is a different thing। बैंक गारंटी तो नॉर्मली एक्सेप्ट करते हैं सर्च केसेस में जहां पर आपने ज्वेलरी वगैरह रिलीज करानी हो, बट इफ यू हैव द रिसोर्सेज टू प्रोवाइड ए बैंक गारंटी, द डिपार्टमेंट विल इंसिस्ट कि आप पेमेंट कराएं, so then they will not accept a bank guarantee। But if you are not able to make the payment of tax and you can show that you have sufficient assets, that may be one of the grounds to seek a stay of the demand। But bank guarantee is not accepted as a substitute for payment। Bank guarantee नहीं accept करते।
Thank you. Then CA Ashish ji, whether it is recommended to submit our submission in paper book for format or individually under separate heads.
No, as I told you, your submissions can be under separate heads, but submission should be a part of the paper book, and the paper book should contain serially numbered all the documents upon which you are relying। तो paper book का part ही होगा submissions। Submissions can be, as I told you, under for various heads or various grounds that you have taken, so submissions can be drafted accordingly, but all the documents that you wish to rely on should be a part of your paper book।
Right. Then CA Aman Agrawal ji is telling, it's great luck to hear Dr. Ravi Gupta sir. I am hearing him after 3 years. So lot of fans are there of Dr. Ravi Gupta ji.
Sir, आप जितनी opportunity देंगे मैं उतनी बार ही बोलूँगा।
Then CA Vinay Kapoor ji, an appeal filed and date fixed for faceless hearing, but assessee overlooked the date on portal. Subsequently, a letter was sent for refixing the date, but till date, no communication received from department. What to do?
So in this case, if you have filed a letter seeking the adjournment, etc., still I would suggest that you prepare your submissions and file them online. So before the appeal is decided, if there are any submissions filed by you online, the CIT appeal is bound to consider them. Even if the date has passed, even if the date has expired, doesn't matter. At present also, you should submit you should make all your submissions and let the CIT consider them when passing the order.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Nishant Kumar ji, assessee deposited cash approximately 26 lakhs during demonetization having petrol pump business and no return filed. Notice was issued under section 142(1), but return not filed by assessee. Finally, learned AO made assessment under section 144. AO passed assessment order and demand under section 156. Taken deemed income 26 lakhs. Applying tax on special income made a total liability of rupees 32 lakhs, including interest. What remedy is now available?
You have forced the assessing officer to make the assessments. You did not file the return voluntarily. You did not file the return under 142(1). So then there was no alternative left to the assessing officer. Right? But even during demonetization period, petrol pumps were allowed to deposit the cash. So now the only remedy available to you is file an appeal against that order, and at the time of hearing, file all the necessary documents. Prepare your accounts, have them audited, file them before the CIT appeal, along with an application for additional evidence. Right? Because you did not file your return, under 142(1). You have not submitted any documents to the assessing officer. So all documents that you wish to rely upon will be considered as fresh evidence. So file all these documents before the CIT appeal, along with an application for additional evidence. Let them go to the assessing officer. In the remand report, the assessing officer will ask you about all the details. Furnish the details before the assessing officer. Let him give a report to the CIT appeal, and then the matter will be decided.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Narendra Tripathi ji, after filing of first appeal, my records has been damaged, and meanwhile I have not full backup. How could I substantiate this?
See, the burden of substantiating your claim is upon the assessee. So merely saying that my documents have been destroyed, I do not think you will get a relief on that ground. That can be a ground for giving some further documents. Right? For example, some additions have been made. If you can file a confirmation from the parties whom you have purchased from, you can furnish duplicate bills, or you can furnish duplicate confirmations. So please arrange for all these documents and submit that to the assessing officer, to the CITP. And then also submit that I cannot produce the originals because they have been destroyed. But these are copies of the originals. These have been obtained subsequently. They may be taken as evidence.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Rajesh Agarwal ji, whether in faceless appeal also paper book is to be attached in portal?
Yes, you must attach the paper book also. Paper book is nothing but a compilation of all the documents upon which you are relying. So when you are filing your submissions and you are relying upon certain documents, those documents have to be a part of your submission. So paper book is only a format of submitting that for easy reference.
Yes, thank you. Then CA Rohit Malhotra ji, if a stay application filed but no reply from judicial AO within a month, what will be the status of stay application?
So there is no provision which will say that the stay application shall be deemed to have been accepted. Okay. So in that case, if your stay application has not been rejected, normally the AO will not proceed with recovery of the demand. Before he takes any coercive action, he will first of all dispose of the stay application, and then only he will proceed with the coercive action. So I do not think that he will attach your bank accounts or attach your debtors, etc., unless and until the stay application has been rejected. If it does that, then only, as I said, the only remedy is go to the court.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Ravi Maskara ji, where and to whom file request for early hearing in new regime of faceless appeal?
That also will have to be filed online on the portal itself. Just like you file an appeal, file an application for early hearing also.
Yeah. Then CA Ravi Maskara ji, my very good friend again, what is the present requirements for pre-deposit for filing appeal, whether the CIT can reject appeal for non-deposit?
Anuj, as I mentioned, there is no requirement of pre-deposit. Disputed tax, filing stay application is a different procedure. But when you file your appeal, there is no requirement of any pre-deposit. Only requirement is that the tax as per the return of income should have been deposited. In 99% of the cases, when you file your return, taxes have already been paid. So there is no further requirement of paying any amount when you file the appeal. The only requirement is to pay the appellate fees, which is 250 to 1,000 rupees. That is all.
Yeah. Thank you. Then CA Manish Bhagat ji. Sir, if income is added, but 26A is not given credit against the income, escaping which was filing the appeal, can make claim amounts which was deposited in 26AS.
Probably the question says that there is some income which is reflected in 26AS, which was not shown in the return of income, which was not declared.
ये कह रहे हैं if income is added but 26AS not given credit, 26AS में credit नहीं दिया है सर, उसमें आया नहीं है, 26AS में reflected नहीं हो रही सर वो.
कोई इनकम जो इन्होंने नहीं दिखाई उसकी एडिशन हो गई और वो 26AS में उसका टीडीएस अगर टीडीएस कटा ही नहीं तो 26AS में कैसे आएगा? सपोजिंग आपने कोई लोन लिया है, अनसिक्योर्ड लोन है और उसको नहीं आप एक्सप्लेन कर पाए, उसने इनकम में ऐड कर दिया, उसका 26AS में कोई टीडीएस का तो मतलब ही नहीं है. सेकंड केस कुड बी वेयर सम इनकम वाज रिफ्लेक्टेड इन 26AS, आपने उसको इनकम को डिक्लेयर नहीं करा. ठीक है, कोई इंटरेस्ट इनकम थी, आपने उसको अपने रिटर्न में नहीं शो करा, तो असेसिंग ऑफिसर हैज एडेड दैट इनकम. व्हेन ही एड्स दैट इनकम ही शुड गिव यू द बेनिफिट ऑफ द टीडीएस एज पर 26AS. पर जो कि आपने रिटर्न में क्लेम नहीं करा था, इसलिए उसने उसको क्रेडिट भी नहीं अलाउ करा. So in that case, you can file an application under 154 because this has been treated as my income of this year, therefore corresponding credit of TDS should be allowed.
Yeah.
154 file कर सकते हैं.
Thank you. Then CA Ram Samaria ji, my very good friend, procedure for appeal in cases of post survey and search cases.
वो अभी हमने डिस्कस करा ना सर कि पोस्ट सर्च पोस्ट सर्वे में अपील तभी होगी जब आपके पास असेसमेंट ऑर्डर आएगा.
Yes, yes. Then CA Shankar, yeah.
Immediately after search या survey कोई अपील का प्रोसीजर नहीं है.
Yeah. Then CA Shankar Jaiswal ji, sir, when an undisclosed income of a certain amount was offered by the assessee in earlier years on the basis of affidavit, but the same was ignored by the assessing officer and bifurcated the same on the basis of returned income, no incriminating document was found during the search period, then what should we do?
पूरा समझ नहीं आया सर क्या करा इन्होंने कि अगर कोई सर्च हुई है उसमें कुछ इन्होंने ऑफर करी इनकम.
I will repeat again, Shankar Jaiswal ji, when an undisclosed income of a certain amount was offered by the assessee in earlier years on the basis of affidavit, but the same was ignored by the AO and bifurcated the same on the basis of returned income, no incriminating document was found during the search period, then what should we do?
देखो what I can understand is कि इनकी यहाँ पे सर्च हुई और कुछ अनडिस्क्लोज इनकम की बात हुई कि भाई 50 लाख रुपए अनडिस्क्लोज इनकम है. इन्होंने एफिडेविट फाइल करा कि ये 50 लाख रुपए इस साल का है. असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं करा, उसने जितनी इनकम थी हर साल की उसके प्रोपोर्शन में उसको ऐड कर दिया, है ना. सो इन दैट केस व्हाट शुड आई डू? अब if you have given an affidavit based upon the facts and you can establish those facts, why should this be treated as income of this year? ठीक है, सिर्फ एफिडेविट देने से काम नहीं होगा. You have to establish that this income belong to this year on the basis of some evidence. तो अगर वो आप एविडेंस एस्टैब्लिश कर सकते हैं, then in appeal you should contest that कि ये असेसमेंट इस ईयर में इनकम जानी चाहिए थी, it has been wrongly added in another year. But you will have to submit the facts and substantiate the income pertains to this year. Only affidavit will not do.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Mahesh Kumar Gupta ji, in case of assessment year 15-16, AO raised a high-pitched demand. Stay was allowed against 20% deposit. First appeal is still pending. Department is adjusting refunds of next years, also in demand. Is it legally proper?
Yes, they will not grant any refund as long as any demand is outstanding. एक तरफ से आपकी डिमांड है, ठीक है, उन्होंने स्टे कर दिया रिकवरी को, बट दे विल नॉट ग्रांट यू एनी रिफंड जब तक उनके रिकॉर्ड में डिमांड खड़ी है, वो उसके एडजस्ट करेंगे.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Rajesh Agrawal ji, assessee had disclosed net profit at the rate 10% on bogus purchases in IDS 2016 and mentioned it in Form 1 of IDS. Subsequently, case picked up under Section 143(2), and on the basis of IDS, AO not made any addition. Now, successor AO has reopened the case on the basis of bogus purchase. What is remedy?
आपको IDS प्रोड्यूस करना है. This income was already considered in the IDS. When you have already offered that income under IDS, then there is no question of making an addition again. तो अब subsequent AO के पास information होगी bogus purchase की, but is not aware of the IDS. Bring that to his notice. He will not make an addition.
Yeah. CA Amitabh Kochar ji is telling, please share a draft or format of drafting of appeal at the time of hearing.
Sir, please send me the appeal order. Send me all the submissions that you have made, and meet me in my chamber. We will draft it, sir. It is not an easy job. It is a very time-consuming job, but I will definitely do it along with you.
Yes,
you're welcome to visit me anytime.
Yeah. Thank you. Then CA Darshan Rathore ji, currently ITAT is offline or online. Please guide. My very good friend Darshan Rathore ji from Balaghat.
Sir, the proceedings before the ITAT are being conducted electronically. So online proceedings hearing ho rahi hai. Although it is a virtual hearing where the members can see the counsel or the person arguing it, the counsel can see the members. So unlike faceless, it is not faceless proceedings, but they are electronic proceedings.
Virtually these are happening, but these are not faceless.
हाँ, जैसे हाई कोर्ट में
it is not faceless.
It is not faceless. जैसे हाई कोर्ट में हो रहा है वैसे इधर भी है, और अभी तक ITAT की फेसलेस की स्कीम नहीं आई है. Although government has announced it, but it will take a year or two to put that in line. अभी तक faceless proceedings ITAT में start नहीं हुई है. अभी recently एक दो दिन पहले ही notification आया है where ITAT has also made provision for online filing of the appeals. तो अभी वो procedure शुरू हो गया कि नहीं, एक दो दिन लगेंगे उसको streamline होने में, but appeals will now be filed electronically.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Vinayak Tandon ji, my very good friend, the assessee is entitled to raise additional legal submissions before the appellate authorities, but is he entitled to raise additional claims before the CIT appeal? Does the CIT appeal have jurisdiction to permit such additional claims to be raised? Further, if there is any item of income or claim for deduction which is not processed by the AO and not a part of the subject matter of assessment, can it be processed by the CIT appeal?
Very good question. In fact, this was disputed. अब ये established principle है कि no fresh claim can be made before the assessing officer. Assessing officer does not have any power to entertain any fresh claim. However, this prohibition does not apply to appellate authorities. So CIT appeal, ITAT still has the power to entertain any fresh claim made by the assessor. इसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट्स भी हैं, गोटेज इंडिया का बड़ी पॉपुलर जजमेंट है that appellate authorities have the power to entertain any fresh claim made before them.
Yeah. Then we are having the query of CA Sushil Santaniji, my very good friend. Nowadays, order passed by IDAO, by learned AO of NEAC under regular scrutiny, assistant regular scrutiny assessment, section 143(3), issue SCN under section 270A, RWS 274, along with order wherein they mentioned under reporting of income due to misreporting. So my query is that how can we judge which type of penalty should be levied?
लेकिन जब आप सेक्शन 270 पढ़ेंगे तो उसमें व्हाट इज मिस रिपोर्टिंग, व्हाट इज अंडर रिपोर्टिंग बड़ा क्लियर दिया हुआ है. व्हाट आर केसेस ऑफ अंडर रिपोर्टिंग, व्हाट आर केसेस ऑफ मिस रिपोर्टिंग. तो उसी के अकॉर्डिंगली अगर एओ ने कहा है कि मिस रिपोर्टिंग का केस है तो वो सेक्शन की पेनल्टी लगाएगा. अगर वो अंडर रिपोर्टिंग की बात करेगा तो अंडर रिपोर्टिंग की पेनल्टी लगाएगा. तो यू विल हैव टू सी अंडर व्हिच प्रोविजन इज ही इनिशिएटिंग द पेनल्टी.
Yeah. Then CA Shyam Sundar Soni ji, when to file appeal and when for rectification, when file appeal and when for rectification.
लेकिन रेक्टिफिकेशन तो होता है मिस्टेक के लिए.
Yeah.
मिस्टेक कुड भी कि आपका क्लेम था जो उसने ओमिट कर दिया, देखा नहीं, कोई टोटलिंग एरर हो गई जिसके बारे में एओ ने कोई डिस्कशन नहीं करी हुई, देन वी कैन से दिस इज अ मिस्टेक. पर अगर असेसिंग ऑफिसर ने कोई क्लेम को डिस्कस करके डिसअलाउ करा है, देन इट इज नॉट अ मिस्टेक. आपने एटीसी का क्लेम करा, एओ ने लिखा कि भाई यू हैव क्लेम फॉर मेडिकल फॉर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस बट दिस इज नॉट परमिटेड एज लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ओनली ऑफ द असेसी इज अलाउड, पेरेंट्स आर नॉट अलाउड. तो उसने अगर उसमें लिखा है, रीजन दिए हैं, देन इट इज नॉट ए मिस्टेक, देन ओनली एन अपील लाइज.
Thank you.
कंडीशन डिलिबरेट है, डिस्कशन के बाद है, वो अपील होगी. अगर कोई मिस्टेक हो गई, कोई टोटलिंग एरर हो गई, कोई क्लेम रह गया, देन इट इज अ मिस्टेक व्हिच विल बी कवर्ड अंडर 154.
Yeah. Then CA Ram Samaria ji, my very good friend from Jaipur. Sir, could appeal be initiated for payment of taxes in installments where AO denied the same plea?
एक बार दोबारा बोलेंगे.
Could appeal be initiated for payment of taxes in installments where AO denied the same plea?
No, that is not a repealable order. अगर आपने पेमेंट ऑफ डिमांड इंस्टॉलमेंट में मांगी और एओ ने कहा कि नहीं, आई विल नॉट ग्रांट द इंस्टॉलमेंट्स, देन दिस इज नॉट एन अपीलेबल ऑर्डर. ये 246A में कवर नहीं होता. सो देयर इज नो अपील अगेंस्ट दिस, ओनली रेमेडी हाई कोर्ट.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Rajesh Agrawal ji, during assessment, AO had added share capital of ₹1 crore received from 4 corporate shareholders. Assessee filed appeal and now opt VSV and paid the taxes due thereon. Now the question is that in books of account, what treatment should be for above shareholders and capital added in income?
This is a very complex question, Anuj ji.
Yeah.
अब इसमें सिर्फ इनकम टैक्स की एप्लीकेशन नहीं है. अब इसमें बेनामी प्रॉपर्टी भी एप्लीकेशन आएगी. इसमें आपको रजिस्ट्रार ऑफ कंपनीज भी इन्वॉल्व हो जाएगा. अगर आपने कह दिया कि ये पैसा मेरा ही था, ठीक है, दिस इज एन अकाउंट्स ऑफ द कंपनी व्हिच हैव बीन ऑडिटेड. अब अगर उसको आप शेयर कैपिटल से अपने कैपिटल में या रिजर्व में ट्रांसफर करना चाहेंगे, ये बहुत जगह क्वेरीज आती है कि आई पेड द टैक्स, कैन आई ट्रीट इट माय ओन मनी. तो उसमें बेनामी में भी आप कवर हो जाएंगे. आप उसको मिस रिपोर्टिंग में, आप उसकी फ्रॉड में, आप बहुत जगह उसके कवर होते हैं. इवन द ऑडिटर में भी होल्ड अप फॉर दैट. तो इसलिए उसको बहुत कॉशियसली आपको करना है. एंड प्लीज डोंट ट्राई टू चेंज योर बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट. टैक्स पे करके एक जगह आपने उसको पीस ऑफ माइंड ले लिया, दैट इज अ डिफरेंट मैटर. बट इनकम टैक्स इज नॉट द ओनली लॉ इन्वॉल्व्ड इन दिस.
Thank you. Then CA Satyendra Kumar ji, if any assessee filed a appeal in the year 2021, but such assessee has been no more with effect from 4th May due to COVID, what about appeal further?
Then the appeal can be carried forward by his legal representatives. The legal representatives may give a notice to the appellate authority that so and so person has expired and we are the legal heirs, we will pursue this appeal. See, because when a demand has been created against a person, even if the person is no longer alive, that demand can be enforced against the legal representatives. So that demand will still stay. So it is advisable that the appeal should be pursued by the legal representatives and necessary relief may be obtained. So legal representatives should inform the appellate authorities and then pursue that appeal.
Thank you. Then CA Shiv Kumar ji, where the AO has mentioned in the order initiate penalty under section 270, but not mentioned whether it is under reporting or misreporting. Is it valid initiation under section 270?
No, that will not be valid. In that case, again, he must specify whether it is for misreporting or for underreporting. If he has not mentioned, then the initiation of penalty itself is not valid.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Rajesh Agrawal ji, during assessment, AO had added share capital of rupees 1 crore received from 4 corporate shareholders. Assessee filed appeal and now opt VSV and paid the taxes due thereon. Now the question, you have taken already taken?
अभी तो लिया ना ये question.
अच्छा, right. Again, it must have gone. Then CA Nishant Kumar ji, time limit has been expired now to file an appeal.
अभी मैंने बताया ना कि अभी तो अगर इस पीरियड में कोविड पीरियड में तो देयर इज अ जनरल एमनेस्टी एंड द डेट हैज बीन एक्सटेंडेड. अब 30 जून तक तो सारी अपील्स अभी फाइल कर ही सकती है.
Yes. Then CA Amit Kumar ji,
ऑर्डर है.
yeah.
कर सकते हैं अभी भी अपील.
Yes. Thank you. Then CA Amit Kumar ji, if AO order has been passed in December 19 and Commissioner appeal has not filed till date due to assessee's ignorance, can Commission appeal condone the delay if we file appeal today?
मैंने आपको बताया कि अभी तो अपील फाइल करने के लिए जनरल कंडोनेशन है. अभी तो आप इमीडिएटली फाइल कर ही दीजिए जून में.
Right. CA Arpit Saji appeal to CIT filed on 21st December 18 for assessment year 11-12 against order passed by AO. Still not getting date. What to do and how to start appeal proceedings speedily?
सर इसको पहले जाके आप फोटो पे चेक कर लीजिए कि आपकी अपील वहां पे रिफ्लेक्ट भी हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही. All cases which were pending before the CIT appeal वो उन्होंने ऑटोमेटिकली ट्रांसफर कर दिए हैं फेसलेस में. अगर कोई ग्रीवेंस है तो प्लीज राइट टू दी फेसलेस अपील सेंटर एंड टेल देम दैट सो एंड सो अपील हैज नॉट बीन टेकन ऑन रिकॉर्ड.
Thank you. Then CA Sushil Santani ji, a civil contractor having large no sites and also engaged large number of uncontracted and unidentified labors, and thus assessee did not deduct TDS and submission was given during scrutiny that provides to chapter 17B shall not be applicable. Despite that, learned AO made an addition under section 40 IA. So if any judgments of apex bodies be there?
See, there are plenty of judgments where TDS provision is not applicable. Then 40 IA automatically will not come to play. So this rather than legal is a matter of fact. If you can establish that the payments were not covered under 194C, then 40 IA is not applicable. So factually try to explain that these were the payment, these were the persons whom it has been paid, and therefore 194C is not required.
Yeah. Then CA Ramesh Ahuja ji, a very senior member and my good friend, levy of interest under section 234A, 234B, 234C is consequential to additions or demand raised, whether a separate ground of appeal is to be raised for the same.
ये 2-3 बार हमने आंसर करा इसको कि ground should not be regarding the quantum of the interest. It can be only relating to the levy of interest. तो आप सिर्फ ये ground ले सकते हैं that interest under 234 ABC is not applicable in this case. बस.
Yeah, thank you. सर वो किसी से बोल दीजिए ना वो पीपीटी का लिंक वगैरह या भेज देंगे so that we can share with the members. मोहम्मद सारिक जी is also asking. निखिल जी आप कोऑर्डिनेट कर दीजिएगा सबको पीपीटी पहुंच जाए ना सर.
ईमेल एड्रेस दीजिए अभी भिजवाता हूं.
अनुज गोयल ANUJ GOYAL @ICAI.org.
अभी भेज रहे सर.
Yes sir. Then CA Manish Bhagat ji, sir, if income is added by AO but 26 AS not given credit against the income escaping which was
question.
Achha, okay. Thank you Manish Bhagat ji. Then Ashish Masal ji, I think facts of the case, PCIT reopened assessment on certain issues. AO issued notice under section 143(2). Has the AO erred in issuing notice under section 143(2) instead of 148 due to period of limitation, is it valid ground of appeal?
देखिए सर, जब PCIT ने करा तो then these are proceedings I can presume under section 263. ठीक है, 263 में ही पावर है to the PCIT to reopen any assessment या जिसको हम कहते हैं to make an order of revision. अब revision की पावर 263 में है, उसके लिए वो AO को डायरेक्ट करेगा। अब 143(2) का नोटिस होता है फॉर असेसमेंट प्रोसीडिंग्स। अब ये तो प्रोसीडिंग्स 263 की होंगी आफ्टर असेसमेंट, तो इसलिए 143(2) का नोटिस नहीं बनेगा इसमें तो नोटिस सेपरेटली 263 के प्रोसीडिंग्स के लिए जाना चाहिए।
Yeah. Then CA Gajendra Kumar ji, my client running business of digital money transfer, 30 crore, banking a correspondent of SBI and Airtel money and get commission 4.5 lakh on said transactions. He is liable for income tax audit for turnover 30 crore or no audit with capital income of 4.5 lakh.
No, his income is only the commission part.
So no tax audit.
This is not a turnover.
Yes.
The money does not belong to him.
Yes.
जैसे आपने ICAI में guidelines issue करेंगे कि what is turnover.
It has not changed the hands, na?
It has not changed. The ownership has never passed on to him.
Yes.
वो turnover नहीं मानी जाएगी.
He's further telling he received a notice for high value transaction.
High value transaction का आ सकता है notice, तो आप उसको explain कर दीजिए that this money was given to me for deposit and this is not my money, this is money of the bank.
Yeah. Then CA Naman Gupta, in form 4, the proof of withdrawal of appeal is called. If assessee not withdrawn appeal before CIT appeal and mentioned reply in the column not applicable, whether the designated authority will approve form 4.
No. See, when you file your form 4 under the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, then you have to submit the proof of having withdrawn the appeal. तो अगर आपने withdraw करी या नहीं करी, but if you have made an application to the commissioner, that proof has to be filed with the form 4. तो बिना उसके form 4 नहीं approve होगा.
Yeah. Then CA Vinayak Tandon ji, the Kerala High Court in 399 ITR 525 in the case of CIT versus BP Sarafuddin held that it is not open to the CIT appeal to introduce in the assessment a new source of income, and the assessment must be confined to those items of income which were the subject matter of the original assessment. Does this position hold today? Vinayak Tandon ji is very prominent chartered accountant and mainly practicing in the direct taxes and appeal.
Thank you, Mr. Tandon. Yes, that is a very valid point raised by you. I had mentioned some cases to the Supreme Court where they have given the power of enhancement. But yes, there are specific judgments, even the judgment that you mentioned of the Kerala High Court, that still holds good, where there is a source of income which was not considered by the AO at all. Then whether the CIT appeal can go into that matter or not. So I think you are correct. Kerala High Court has held that if there is a new ground of appeal which was not considered by the AO at all, then CIT appeal should not go into that while passing the order.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Then CA Amitabh Kochar ji, is there can be an addition of interest on interest-free unsecured loan given to an party by bank transfer?
See, Anuj, interest can be disallowed under section 36(1). First of all, disallowance तभी हो सकता है if I have paid interest. That means on my borrowings I am paying interest, and on the second hand I am giving interest-free loans. Then only interest can be disallowed. Secondly,
Yes.
AO should establish that I have used the borrowed funds on which interest is paid to pay interest-free loans. If I have my own sufficient capital and I claim that I have given the interest-free loans out of my own capital, still no disallowance can be made. So there is a plethora of judgments on this, that only if you can establish that interest-bearing loans have been used to give interest-free loans, then only interest can be disallowed.
Yeah, thank you. Then CA Sachin Sharma ji, in case of limited scrutiny of cash deposit during demonetization and AO was satisfied by genuine source of income whether AO can pass order for disallowing any expenditure of salary to staff on the basis of last year expenditure and subsequently disallowed remuneration to partner. Whether we can take ground of appeal that it is limited scrutiny.
I will have to see the notice that was issued under 142. If that notice was for limited scrutiny, then we even have a board circular which says that wherever there is a case for limited scrutiny, the assessment is to be limited only to that ground. Right? But normally the notices that we are seeing in the recent, they say that there is a case of complete scrutiny. However, the issues have been identified. So if it is a case for complete scrutiny, then of course the AO can go into various factors. If it is a case for limited scrutiny, then only that issue can be examined.
Thank you. Then CA Subhas Agrawal ji, please also take a session on how to file appeal before ITAT. I think I will request Ravi Gupta sir to give us the time to have this session, how to file appeal before.
Because these are very elaborate topics, so I did not want to mix both of them today.
Later on.
Whenever you say, we will take a topic.
Yes, thank you. Then, sir, in the Pleat Kaur-ji, self-assessment tax 50,000 was paid under revised return, which was processed by department. Later on, department has also processed the original return where same 50,000 was self-assessment tax was payable and notice issued 143.1 for the payment, which has already paid with revised return. What to do?
See, once a return has been revised, then the original return has no meaning. The revised return substitutes the original return. So then you will have to make an application that revised return has been processed and therefore the processing of the original return should be cancelled.
Yeah. Then Ashok Kumar ji, you want to ask any query? Ashok Kumar ji, please unmute and ask the query. Sir, we are having next query. Kuldeep Sharma ji, how to file rectification of assessment order in which apparent mistake of levying interest under section 234C, whereas there was no tax payable. Can we file appeal for the same?
No, you cannot file an appeal for 234C separately. You only can file an application under section 154.
Yeah. Thank you. Then CA Rohit Jain ji, during the demonetization, client deposit cash in bank account and he has gold sold bill provided by Goldsmith, but during the assessment, Goldsmith deny that bill is not provided by me. And all cash deposit add in income by AO and appeal is filed by the assessee. Any case laws in favor of assessee?
See, here again, sir, it will be a matter of fact. When the person whom you claim has issued the bill himself is denying that, then the burden will be upon you to first of all establish that the bill was genuine. So you may seek an opportunity of cross-examining that person. So if he in cross-examination admits that he has issued the bill, only then you have a proper case in your favor. Now, there are a lot of judgments which permit you to have a cross-examination, right? So even Andaman Timber says that no statement can be used against you unless until you have been given an opportunity of being cross-examining that person. So you can exercise that right, call for the attendance of that person, cross-examine him and make him give a statement that the bill was genuine.
Yes, sir. Next query is in the Pleat Kaur-ji, assessee regular return filer withdraw cash above 21 lakh and paid the part of money for purchase of property and part spent on critical illness of parent. Bank has deducted TDS under section 194N. How to claim refund? What will be consequences?
So just like any other TDS, you can make the claim when you are filing a return. So you claim that TDS and you will get the credit when you file your return.
Yeah, thank you. Then Kuldeep Sharma ji, can a proceeding under section 148 can be initiated against a deceased person?
सर 140 से एक जनरल लॉ है, रिसेंटली दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट की जजमेंट भी इसके ऊपर आई है, दैट नो नोटिस कैन बी इशूड टू अ डेड पर्सन. तो अगर कोई नोटिस ही इशू है उस आदमी के नाम से हु इज नो लॉन्गर देयर, नोटिस इटसेल्फ इज इनवैलिड. पर अगर एओ को पता है कि वो आदमी डिजीज्ड है एंड ही ब्रिंग्स ऑन रिकॉर्ड द लीगल हेयर्स ऑफ द एसएससी, देन नोटिस कैन बी इशूड डायरेक्टली टू द लीगल हेयर्स.
Yeah. Then CA Raj Sen ji, yeah.
हाँ जी, प्लीज करिए.
CA Raj Sen ji, what amount will be considered a high-pitched assessment?
We have to compare that with the return income. If let us say the income assessed is 10 times the return income, then we will call it high pitched assessment. ऐसी कोई definition described नहीं है, but compared to the return income, we will see whether it is high pitched or not.
Yeah. Then CA Narendra Pratani ji, please share PPT. Of course, we will do it. निखिल जी आप एक बार देख लीजिएगा ना प्लीज.
आपको भेज दिया PPT, आपके मेल पे आ गई होगी.
अच्छा, ओके. सो मैं निखिल जी आपको फॉरवर्ड कर रहा हूँ, आप जरा देख लीजिए किस तरीके से हाउ यू कैन डिसमिनेट. देन शंकर जायसवाल जी, द assessee had given a cash loan before the block period of assessment. The assessee had charged interest for 2 years. Later on, the said loan became bad debts. Now the learned AO had provided the interest on accrual basis.
If you can establish that the interest never accrued to you, अगर वो पार्टी कंफर्म कर देगी कि मैंने कभी इंटरेस्ट दिया ही नहीं है, and your books also you have written off as bad debt, then that income will be deleted.
Yeah. Then Shankar Jaiswal ji, the assessee had given a cash loan before the block period of assessment. The assessee had charged interest for 2 years.
हो गया है तो.
ये हो गया ना सर?
हाँ अभी हुआ.
अच्छा, sorry. CA Rohit Mehrotra ji, in case of limited scrutiny to examine the capital issue addition, later on addition made under section 69 for purchase of land investment, whether valid since limited scrutiny.
मैंने बताया सर, लिमिटेड स्क्रूटनी है तो सिर्फ जिस इशू पे हुआ उतना ही करना है. अगर लिमिटेड स्क्रूटनी का नोटिस है उसको एग्जामिन कर लें तो फिर ये एडिशंस इनवैलिड है.
Yeah, right. Then Gajendra ji, CA Gajendra Kumar ji, share transaction intraday, future transaction above 1 crore is liable for tax audit. No other business running by taxpayer.
सर आपको इंस्टीट्यूट का गाइडेंस नोट रेफर करेंगे कि इस केस में टर्नओवर किसको मानते हैं. इसमें हर ट्रांजैक्शन का जो प्रॉफिट या लॉस का एलिमेंट है, दैट इज ट्रीटेड एज योर टर्नओवर. तो अगर आपकी एक ट्रांजैक्शन 50 लाख की है परचेज की और 55 लाख की सेल की है, तो ओनली द डिफरेंस इज ट्रीटेड एज योर टर्नओवर. उसके बेसिस पे डिटरमिन करना है कि आपकी टर्नओवर कितनी है.
Yeah. Thank you. Then Rohit Mehrotra ji, notice issued under section 142(1), but no reply filed by the assessee. Later on, AO treated cash deposited during the entire year as added under section 69A and assessment under section 144, whether valid.
क्वेश्चन क्या था कि ना रिटर्न फाइल नहीं करी.
Notice issued under 142(1), but no reply filed by the assessee. Later on, AO treated cash deposited during entire year as added under section 69A and assessment under 144, whether valid.
तो अगर उन्होंने नोटिस इशू करा, आपने रिटर्न नहीं फाइल करी, तो देन असेसिंग ऑफिसर हैज नो ऑप्शन. वो 144 में ऑर्डर पास करेगा.
Yeah. Yes. Then we are having the next query of some queries are there in the chat box also. I think we have already taken Gajendra Kumar Jain ji.
आप मुझे फॉरवर्ड कर दीजिएगा, मैं उसका फिर भी उनको रिप्लाई कर दूंगा अगर कोई भी क्वेरी रह जाए तो.
Yeah. Yes. So you want to ask any query, निखिल जी? और आपको वो मिल गया?
No sir, no query from my side, but it was such a wonderful deliberation. अभी PPT मुझे नहीं मिला है, आप एक बार आप मुझे शेयर कर दीजिए.
जरा ईमेल आईडी बताना निखिल आपकी.
Sir, aca.guptanikhil@gmail.com. ACA. .guptanikhil@gmail.com.
तो ये इसमें लिंक वगैरह डाल सकते हैं क्या इसमें चैट बॉक्स में, कैसे करोगे?
मैं इसको देख लेता हूँ सर एक बार।
मैंने भेज दिया है आपको। मैंने
Right,
वैसे
sir.
इंडिविजुअल मेल भी कर दी है जिनकी क्वेरीज आई हैं। सो या Kuldeep Sharma ji is asking, sir, how to file rectification against an e-assessment order as manual application are not accepted?
उसका प्रोसीजर दिया हुआ है सर, उसमें ई प्रोसीडिंग्स में उसका भी प्रोसीजर दिया हुआ है, तो यू विल हैव टू सी द ई प्रोसीडिंग्स और उसमें ई प्रोसीडिंग्स में ही आपको फाइल करनी पड़ेगी, मैनुअली नहीं होता।
Yes, yes. Yeah. So I think we have answered most of the queries of most of the participants. Lot number of other queries are also there. Manish Jindal ji is also appreciating for wonderful deliberation and explanation with the wonderful PPT. Please share the PPT. मैंने आपको भेज दिया, आप जरा देख लीजिएगा कैसे PPT को शेयर कर सकते हैं. How we can try to disseminate. And then Saroj Anand Joshi ji, my very good friend from Dehradun, is also appreciating. Thank you all for organizing such an informative and interactive webinar. So lot number of members are appreciating the deliberation of Dr. Ravi Gupta ji. One Shiv Kumar ji. Yes, sir.
I would like to place on record also कि मेरी colleague है यहाँ पर चंद्रिमा चौधरी जी, who was very instrumental in preparing this presentation.
Oh, great. Yeah. Thank you. And I have seen her name also in the very beginning, the credit you have given. Thank you. Then CA Kuldeep Sharma ji, calling for information under section 133 from a deceased person, is it possible?
No notice can be issued to a dead person.
Yeah.
तो इसलिए कोई भी किसी किस्म का नोटिस हो, 142(1) का हो, 143(2) का हो, 148 का हो या 136 का हो, it is null and void.
Yeah. Then Rakesh Chaudhary ji is also appreciating the deliberation. And Neeraj Kumar Gupta ji, sir, if money transfer more than 1 crore is subject to tax audit under section 44 AB, since commission is about 4 lakhs. I think already answered, no? It is not subject to tax audit, sir, already answered, it is not subject to tax audit, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Then yeah. So I think we have answered most of the queries, and we are really grateful to Dr. Ravi Gupta sir for the wonderful deliberation, wonderful presentation, and in spite of his ill health, he is here to bless all of us. That shows his dedication, devotion, commitment, and his love and affection for all of us. So we are really grateful, really indebted from the core of our heart for your kind presence and blessing all of us. So thank you very much. Thank you, Nikhil ji. Thank you, Anubhav Mittal ji. Thank you, Raghvendra Sharma ji and PC Jain ji, our founders of Transcendent. And over to CA Nikhil Gupta ji.
Thank you, Anuj sir. Thank you, Ravi Gupta sir, for such a wonderful and excellent deliberation. Sincere gratitude from Transcendent CP Studies Circle and from the heart of every and each participant. We hope that all the participant has enjoyed this deliberation on appeals under income tax. Now I would like to invite Anubhav Mittal ji for vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, our learned speaker, Dr. Ravi Gupta ji, for such a wonderful and nice deliberation. I am sure that the knowledge we all have gained today will help us in managing appeals under income tax effectively and efficiently. Further, I would like to thank CA Anuj Goyal ji, Central Council Member ICAI, for his gracious presence, and CA Nikhil Gupta ji for organizing such a wonderful webinar. At last, I would like to thank all the participants present here as well as watching on YouTube for their gracious presence, and I hope that it would have been a great learning session for all. Thank you, our learned speaker, Dr. Ravi Gupta ji, for your time and support.
Thank you, Anand ji, especially for inviting me here today.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Your blessings, and you are always there to bless all of us. We are really grateful, and we wish a very long life to you and your associates. And आपको देख के तो जो है ना हमारे में भी एनर्जी आ जाती है कि how one can really go ahead.
So energetic. आप तो पूरी हो गए.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anuj.
And I will request on behalf of Dr. Ravi Gupta ji and all our honorable organizers that as the second wave is coming to and as such, but we have to be very careful, because we have seen the carelessness after first wave, and it has affected all of us in a great way. We have lost a lot number of members and their family members. So I will request all of you to please take very good care of yourself and your family members, and please get yourself vaccinated at the earliest. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and our branches are trying our level best to have the vaccination drive so that we can be vaccinated. All our family members can be vaccinated at the earliest. So I will request all of you to please take very good care of yourself and your family members in this time of corona pandemic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Gupta sir. Thank you, Nikhil ji. Thank you, Anubhav Mittal ji. And thank you all our honorable participants for being so interactive on Zoom platform as well as on YouTube. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sir. Thank you very much. Have a very good day.
Thank you.